preseason tenure of new Chicago Bears head coach Matt Eberflus. One more preseason game before the real thing on September the 11th against San Francisco. Justin Fields will be at the helm for the Week 1 opener, and he and the starters will get about a half in this preseason finale, going up against Jacoby Brissett, who will be the starter to begin the season for the Cleveland Browns. Bears preseason football is brought to you by Advocate Healthcare from Cleveland, Ohio. It's the Chicago Bears and the Cleveland Browns in the 2022 preseason finale. With that, we welcome you inside the broadcast booth. Adam Amin, Jim Miller, Lou Canellis is with us tonight as well. So the Bears went undefeated last in the preseason all the way back in 1994. They have a chance to go 3-0. They've had impressive wins against Kansas City and most recently against Seattle. Jimmy, your impressions on what you've seen in the first two games?
Let's start with the third phase. Special teams. Richard Hightower, special teams coach, he has this group on point. Rookie punter Trenton Gill, he's pinned the opponents back. And then you look at kicker Cairo Santos. He looks in midseason form. The coverage units have been terrific, Adam. Defensively, they look intense. They're flying around. They're generating turnovers and pressure on the opposing quarterbacks. But we have yet to see Roquan Smith working a new position as weak side linebacker in a new defensive scheme. Lastly, offense, they have yet to hit pay dirt. And when you look at the starters offensively tonight, they look to cash in the red zone as Justin Fields looks to get more chemistry with the offensive unit.
Well, let's dive a little bit deeper into Justin Fields. You noticed some things mechanically and in the scheme for Justin that have looked good.
Yeah, you look here, back in 2021, look at his right foot forward in the shotgun position. Compared to 2022, his right foot is back. Look how much more efficient he is getting the ball out of his hand. Has the RPO fake, boom, it's just catch and release. Imagine it without the fake, it'd be even faster. Also out of the gun. Here you've got the slot fade route by Mooney, has his right foot back, looks comfortable. He high points the ball with an accurate throw. Mooney comes down with it. Last but not least, take advantage of his athleticism. Last week in Seattle, he just drills, gets his hips around, and drills the bootleg naked to the over route in Cole Kmet.
Well, we talked about it last year. Justin Fields made his first career start here in Cleveland, 9 sacks given up. But the offensive line has been a major story in this preseason, and maybe the biggest storyline is one of our Advocate Healthcare players to watch. It's Tevin Jenkins, who's been shifted around a whole lot.
He's a second-year offensive tackle for the Bears. Drafted as a left tackle last year. Now as camp has gone along, moved over to right tackle. He was working with the third group. Now he's kicked into right guard. So he's called it a roller coaster ride. He has a chance to solidify a starting job tonight if he plays well again.
On the defensive side, Kyler Gordon made his preseason debut in Seattle.
Love this guy. He is impressive. He can make a lot of turnovers. He's had more to do as a rookie as a second-round pick. Has played outside. Last week they kicked him in the nickel. He's got to deal with two-way goes, but he has been impressive, and he'll get some opportunities tonight.
We'll kind of travel a little further down the depth chart now. Tuesday is the final cuts. For more on that, we go down to the field and Lou Canellis.
All right, guys, rosters need to be pared down from 80 to 53 on Tuesday. And for some guys, best way to make that 53-man roster, making their mark on special teams. One of those Bears right now, linebacker Jack Sanborn. He's been terrific on special teams. Against the Chiefs, he had this interception, also a fumble recovery, and 5 tackles, including 1 for a loss. The other player to keep an eye on tonight, Elijah Hicks, the safety. Special teams coach Richard Hightower calls Hicks a ball of energy. He has played well in coverage last week against the Seahawks on special teams, recovered the muff pump for a touchdown in Seattle. So Hicks has been terrific. He was a find through the draft process. He had an injury and he fell to the Bears in the 7th round. Sanborn, Lake Zurich native, went to the University of Wisconsin, a tackling machine, a smart kid as well, great football IQ. Bears are lucky to have both. Back to you guys.
Well, Lou, Justin Fields, as we mentioned, this was the site of his first career NFL start. Bears are hoping that this year it will be a nice launch pad into a solid and successful season. Speaking of successful seasons, how about the last 2 years for the Bears' leading rusher, David Montgomery? He will make his preseason debut this evening in Cleveland. Preseason finale is coming up next.
He will not be denied.
First head coaching job in the NFL. come in with an acronym. It's very easy to kind of roll your eyes at it, but I have been very impressed with the buy-in of the Bears to Matt Eberflus's HITS principles.
You can see it. They do play with intensity, and they are taking away the football, and they fly. They hustle to get to the play, and they're smart at diagnosing the plays offensively. Not to mention, they've been smart because they've been disciplined. They don't get penalized like they used to a year ago. Much cleaner than what we've seen so far.
So all the philosophical things that Matt Eberflus was hoping to implore on the locker room to start this preseason, they are seemingly seeping in. Cairo Santos will get set to kick away. It'll be Jerome Ford for Cleveland back to return. He is the 5th-round draft pick, the rookie out of Cincinnati, but a solid start to his NFL career. Browns beat the Jaguars on the road in their preseason opener before a 1-point loss against the Eagles here in Cleveland last week. 60 more minutes before the real thing. Off we go. And out to the 25 will come the Browns offense. Let's take a look at tonight's weather conditions, courtesy of Bet Rivers. It is a very nice, easy, comfortable night. 74 degrees here in Cleveland along the lake. Obviously, Deshaun Watson signed one of the largest contracts in professional sports history, as Al Michaels termed it the other night on Thursday Night Football, an absolute mess here in Cleveland. So Jacoby Brissett is making his preseason debut. He will be the starter for presumably the 11 games that Watson is suspended. He'll sling it out to the left, and it's incomplete for Anthony Schwartz. It'll bring up second down. Jacoby Brissett signed a 1-year deal with the Browns. He has 30 starts between New England, Indianapolis, and most recently last year in Miami.
Got thrown into a rough situation with the retirement of Andrew Luck, but he was a young quarterback at that point. To me, he's logged a lot of starts. Even Frank Reich thought he had grown as a quarterback. Now gets an opportunity here in Cleveland with Deshaun being suspended the first 11 weeks.
Good penetration. It was Dearness Johnson who got hit by Justin Jones, 5th-year man out of North Carolina State, who feels more at home at that 3 technique inside.
He really, well, he's got a background. If you go back when Gus Bradley was the defensive coordinator of the LA Chargers, it's the same style of defense. So he is a penetrator. He's been penetrating through the training camp, and I think he's been consistent where it's risen up, because that's where the defense, the Tampa 2, starts and stops, is with the 3 technique.
Brissett slings it towards the sticks, and the catch is made by David Njoku. It is seemingly just shy of the 35-yard line. It'll pick up 9, but the punt unit's coming on.
Yeah, Njoku, he's a very athletic tight end. Obviously, the franchise demand paid him the money, but he's got to know where the sticks are. So that's a great play. And obviously, when you look at Jackson, he's in place to really just tag him when he went down to the ground.
He had ran past the sticks, but
just
on his comeback, he went too far behind the sticks.
Got to be aware as a player where the sticks are.
So Corey Bojorquez will punt away. Dante Pettis is back to return, and a booming punt, sending him all the way back to the 6-yard line. That was an excellent kick by Bojorquez, and Pettis trying to turn it into something. Switching fields and finally running out of bounds, turning it into a 22-yard return on what was a 60-yard boomer. We've seen some big punts in the preseason across the league.
Almost kicked his coverage there, and Pettis almost turned the corner. I think for me, this is where Pettis has got to make the team, because with the injuries at receiver, Velus Jones Jr., the draft pick from Tennessee, is probably going to be elevated to the 3 spot. I don't think you want to overload him. Maybe this is where Pettis can make a roster spot for the Bears.
27 snaps in the first 2 games for Justin Fields. Just 1 successful drive last week. And they'll start from the 20-yard line. And here's the first touch for David Montgomery. He got hit by Alex Wright, the rookie out of UAB. He was the first man to make contact with Montgomery, and then the rest of the Browns team up for a loss of a couple.
have to get Montgomery really just lathered up a little bit. His first action, as you mentioned, he needs a lot of carries, probably 26 carries a game because he makes the tough yardage, and he's going to help out Justin Fields tremendously in the pass game.
Still looking for that first touchdown pass, but fairly clean football from Fields, especially after maybe the first drive or two against Kansas City. Draw play for Montgomery, and another good defensive play. This time it was Anthony Walker for a loss.
It's a good linebacker, and Anthony Walker. He led their team in tackles last year for the Cleveland Browns. Simple draw play, as you mentioned. He diagnoses it. Mustipher, to my knowledge there, he's got to get to the second level to get to the linebacker. He kind of shot the gap pretty quickly, but he had a 2 count where he could have got to the second level and got the block.
So it's 3rd down and 11. Empty set for Fields. It's a 4-man rush. Under pressure. Was wrapped up and had to sling it away. Incomplete. Alex Wright with 2 good plays on that opening series for the Cleveland defense. No Myles Garrett. No Jadeveon Clowney. No Chase Winovich. So Alex Wright is pretty much their #1 for this preseason finale.
Yeah, this was a good group defensively last year in sacks. They were tied for 9th with 43. They can put pressure on you. And to me, in that situation, Justin, again, I think he's done a better job of getting the ball out of his hand. He's got to feel it and get the ball out a little bit sooner to the inside slot out route.
Trenton Gill has, as Jimmy mentioned in the open, put together a solid preseason. Demetric Felton is back to return. Remember, the Browns signed former Bear Jakeem Grant, but he suffered a torn Achilles before the preseason began. So he's done for the year. Tough grab by Felton. And DeAndre Houston Carson is there for the special teams stop. Decent field positioning near the 30-yard line coming up for Cleveland. Both teams go empty and 3 and out on their first possessions.
To you by Advocate Healthcare, Miller Lite, your local Hyundai dealers, PNC, and Enjoy Illinois.
The Bears travel to the UK to put on youth camps for over 1,200 kids in 8 cities from London to Glasgow. And we have some friends tonight joining us across the pond. Midnight kickoff over on Sky Sports this evening. I appreciate everybody in the United Kingdom watching this evening. I guess it's going into morning now. From the 32-yard line, Cleveland's second drive. We'll start with a Ernest Johnson run. Good job by Matt Adams and Nicholas Morrow, along with the rest of the group, getting over there for the stop. Time at kickoff. Of course, we've got friends in Honolulu as well, in the capital of Hawaii. So a welcome across the globe, seemingly, tonight. We'll go empty set for Brissett. On 2nd and 6, leaving it for the running back Felton, and he'll angle near the 40-yard line. Justin Jones got another tackle, and there's Kyler Gordon in the mix.
Yeah, it's always in the mix, but look at the number of blue jerseys. It's a quick wide receiver screen. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you've got even Robinson. Fine, he's going to the pile. He doesn't want to loaf. That's what the intensity and part of hits entails, about these guys hustling to the ball. So when you get 4, 5 guys, 6 jerseys swiping at the ball, that's where you generate the turnovers, but you have to be hustling.
Off the play fake on 3rd and short. Brissett's going to air it out, looking for Anthony Schwartz. Nearly made a spectacular one-hand catch, but good coverage by Greg Stroman Jr. along with DeAndre Houston Carson from safety playing over the top.
Yeah, and you mentioned Schwartz. This guy can pick him up and put him down. Yep. He was a legit 4-3 guy coming out in the draft. And Brissett, you can see his arm strength. But Stroman, he comes with a ton of playing time from his career with the Washington Commanders. And DeAndre Houston Carson, he just continues to play well. Every time he's got an opportunity at safety, 3 starts, he makes a play. Whether it's a turnover, whether it's an interception, plus he's a special teams demon when it's all said and done.
Back-to-back 3 and outs from this Bears defense to start the night. It is Pettis again bailing out, and it is the right call. Touchback on a 60-yard. Pulled in and looked very sharp in practice this week as well. The expectation was that he was going to make his preseason debut, but before kickoff tonight, we were informed that Smith is going to sit out. That's not uncommon by any means, but Ryan Poles, the new general manager, is slated to join us in the second half, so perhaps if we get the opportunity, he can shed some light on that decision. But so far, Matt Eberflus's defense very good. Back-to-back 3-and-outs.
Yeah, I think they've continued to perform. I think that's the one piece of the puzzle we've yet to see. Him moving to the weak side backer in this Tampa 2-style defense. He's basically going to be Lance Briggs.
Yep.
And he's got the speed. He's got the athleticism. Led the team in tackles last year, 163. I think he's going to just be a star in this defense.
There is Montgomery with a positive play. Best run so far in this second Bears drive. Take it out for 6. So David Montgomery making his preseason debut. Now his 4th year out of Iowa State. Led last year with 850 yards despite missing 4 games with a knee issue. He was a 1,000-yard rusher 2 seasons ago.
And I think when the offense was featured with him, when he was the feature of the offense, that's where it started to get more rhythm. He gets the tough yardage. He's the grinder, and the team kind of feeds off him. On his tough runs, it inspires the entire team.
This is to the fullback, Kari Blossengame, and he puts his shoulder down into Martin Emerson Jr., the rookie. That's a 6-yard catch and run to move the chains. That's the Bears fullback who is expected to play a role this year.
And again, we've seen it every single game. You see more of Justin Fields on the move. It's just a little bootleg again where Blossengame releases free to the flat. It's a nice, easy pitch and catch and good enough for the first down. But even in downs like that, if you threaten the edge with Justin's legs, it's going to open up guys down the field. He's going to be a much more special player here in year 2.
And here's some of that RPO action we were talking about. The nice catch and release as he finds Darnell Mooney.
This is what I mean by having his right foot back, Adam. So he's throwing to his left. I gave you the clip of him throwing to his right earlier. So he's throwing to his left. His right foot's back. Just catch and release. Step and throw. Boom. It's out of your hand. It's quick. Now the block is up front. That way, if your right foot's back, sometimes you'll get that flag where the outside receiver's blocking downfield because it takes too long. So he's able to get it out of his hand quicker. He's been much more efficient, what I've seen all the way through camp up to this point in the 3rd preseason game.
A 2nd and 5 pass for Fields. Now he has to use his legs, and he's going to convert for a first down, and yet another slide where contact is made. It's Jacob Phillips who made the play, and there are the offensive linemen immediately coming to the defense of Justin Fields. A flag is thrown from the near side.
And I don't know why this happens to Justin Fields. It happened all last year, and it's happened twice here in the preseason. He doesn't give the benefit of the doubt when he slides.
No.
The minute you give yourself up, that's it. The play is over. And twice it happened in the Kansas City game, now here in the Cleveland game, where players are taking shots when a player like Justin Fields has given himself up.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness. Number 50. Defense. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
So Phillips will get tagged with it. And that'll add to the converting run by Fields.
Nice step up. He feels the pressure from behind. Tucks it right there. Gives himself up. You can't do it. You can't do it. He's leading with the shoulder. I'll give the Phillips the
benefit of the doubt on that particular thing.
benefit of the doubt there.
Okay.
But still, once the quarterback elects to slide and gives himself up, the play's over. It's dead. You can't do it.
So that moves the Bears up to the Cleveland 39-yard line. Blossengame blocking for Montgomery, who squeezes through a hole and has the cutback lane for a first down and more. Into the red zone go the Bears. Excellent run by Montgomery. A 24-yard scamper, but there's a flag on the near side of the field. A busy sequence for Brad Allen. Good blocking from Blossengame, the fullback, yet again.
Nice lead play, and we'll get to the block on this because it was tremendous.
Offense, number 84. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
That is Ryan Griffin on the holding penalty, so that negates the excellent run.
Yeah, it's a nice lead play. This is why you get Blossengame, all right? He was the lead blocker for Derrick Henry, one of the best in the business, and gets through the hole. Nice kick-out block by Griffin, but you see the jersey pull right there.
Yep.
But Blossengame goes and cleans it up. Now you've got the cutback lane, but you're going to see that lead play quite a bit by the Chicago Bears throughout the entirety of the year.
Well, now we get a chance to see Khalil Herbert in his second year out of Virginia Tech. He stays in and then releases. A nice comeback throw to Dante Pettis. He makes the grab and gets tackled at the 36-yard line by Greedy Williams. A 13-yard gain, so he basically got half that back.
And it starts with the protection. Was a low snap, but hey, nice pocket. He's able to step and drive the football down the field on the curl route to Pettis. So good pocket up front to deliver it on time.
And there's Luke Getsy, who has shown some comfort calling these plays. He's done that in the preseason for Green Bay. He'll have his first NFL game as play caller against the 49ers. Fields on the move. Want to see more of this and want to see a lot of that. That's Cole Kmet spinning his way to a first down. Picks up 8 yards.
It's a nice job mixing up the formations. Same thing, 21 personnel. You just had a big run off the lead play, so you come back with the lead, bootleg right, and just get the ball in space with Cole Kmet. He's able to shake a couple guys and get the first down.
Well, Cleveland's missing a bunch of players due to injury today. And they're sitting a bunch of their defensive studs. As we said, Garrett, Clowney, they're both out. Winovich is out with a hamstring injury. And Denzel Ward is sitting out tonight. And you saw Grant Delpit down as well. Kevin Stefanski going into his 3rd season as the Browns head coach looks on. We'll step aside.
Advocate Healthcare, the official healthcare provider of the Chicago Bears.
The Bears, after that holding penalty on Ryan Griffin, overcome the 1st and 20. Got a fresh set of downs at the 27 and a jump up front by Tommy Togiai of the Browns front.
And Justin's been better at this too. Last week he got a neutral zone infraction by the Seattle Seahawks. He's working the cadence. Last year he was reluctant to do that.
Encroachment. Defense, number 93. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
And now he gets Togiai just working the cadence. You can see the offensive linemen, they're all disciplined. They stand still, and you got to use your cadence as a weapon. And you get a cheap 5 yards right there. Well done by a second-year quarterback.
There is Tevin Jenkins up front, starting with the offensive first-teamers at right guard. Keep an eye on him in the trenches as he pass blocks. Fields protected, throwing, touchdown! It's the first for Fields of the preseason, and after the penalty against Ryan Griffin, he comes back for a 22-yard touchdown.
Beautiful read and throw. Diagnoses the cover 2, and Griffin on the corner route. Sees it. See the high safety in the corner. Corner starts to run as he knows he doesn't have anybody threaten him in the flat, so you got to drill it into the hole. Got the arm strength, drives the ball, perfect placement, touchdown. This is exactly what the Bears needed to do. They needed to hit pay dirt and score in the red zone.
That's a 10-year veteran out of Connecticut who's had a very long career with a few teams, coming off a few years with the New York Jets. Ryan Griffin comes up with an excellent catch on a near perfect throw by Justin Fields. His first touchdown pass of the preseason on what was a drive that saw the Bears face some adversity. 1st and 20 after Griffin committed the penalty, but he caps it off with the score.
Are you ready? Let's hit play. Remember being spontaneous? Let's do that. Get-togethers are back. Let's have lots of those. Still working in your PJs? No judgments here. Let's live for every moment. Let's embrace our health and wellness. And together, let's live well. Advocate Healthcare.
This is Kim. She just got her new mattress from Steinhoffel's, and she hasn't slept this good in a long time. She went to Steinhoffel's and found the perfect mattress. Steinhoffel's is your mattress destination, where you can test rest all the best brands before you buy. And with Steinhoffel's special financing and free delivery, you can't make a mistake. Isn't it time you got a good night's sleep? Relax. It's Steinhoffel's.
This is supersonic Wi-Fi from Xfinity. It's fast.
So gaming with your niece has never felt more intense. Incoming! Hey, what does this button do?
No, don't! welcome to the fastest internet on the largest gig speed network.
Are you crying, Uncle Ed?
No! A little.
Only from Xfinity. Unbeatable internet made to do anything, so you can do anything.
What's in a name? For some, the meaning runs deeper than the word we see in front of us. There's a history to it. We are Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, and the biggest part of our name will always be the smallest, of, because it's the of that connects us, which means we are of our communities, of a promise for a healthier tomorrow, and we will always be of you through it all.
Ford scoring drive summary. The 5-for-5 Justin Fields run on that series. The 5 completions went to 5 different receivers. That was a clean drive despite the penalty.
Yeah, really nice, confident throw by Justin Fields to rip it on the corner route to Griffin. And again, this is what's going to build chemistry for them. They have not played enough together because there's been so many variables, changing offensive linemen, changing of receivers on the outside. But I think you've seen on that drive alone, Justin Fields, the growth. Drew them off sides. He's using the movement plays. He's confident in his decisions, and he's ripping the ball and getting the ball out of his hand a lot quicker.
That throw was a very nice throw.
Laser. Beautiful throw. He's got a strong arm. He's got all the tools to just be fantastic in this league. He just needs a consistent offense that fits what he can do and the players around him that he can elevate.
Take me back to the touchdown. Why did he have that window?
You got Equanimous St. Brown. He's running the turnaround. I thought he was going to go to the flat to keep this corner honest. Then Griffin's running the corner route here, and he just drills it into the hole shot because you'll see this corner slough off. But beautiful throw by Justin Fields. See the return route? Boom. That's why the corner, he was threatened, and then he drops off, ends up being a 2 cover to that side, but still saw it beautifully and knew he could get it in there, ripped it with that arm strength that he has as a quarterback.
Brissett on the drop back. Got tripped up and started to throw the ball forward. There is a flag thrown. Good pursuit that time of Jacoby Brissett. And Trayvon Coley sprinting. Nicholas Morrow on the move. And we'll check the marker. Veteran official Brad Allen.
Holding. Offense number 55. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
That's the center Ethan Posick. So it'll be first down and 20. A great pursuit.
And I think, again, it really is about the effort of the Bears. There you see Adams. He's on his man. There you got Coley giving the effort from the backside. Look, I'll tell you what, this Nicholas Moreau is fantastic. And because he can run, he's physical, he flies to the football, he's great in coverage, and I think him and Roquan paired together are just going to be fantastic on the inside for the Bears.
There's Dearness Johnson. A lot of traffic out on the perimeter with Kyler Gordon, Matt Adams, and DeAndre Houston-Carson all filling that gap on the edge. We are seeing the things that Matt Eberflus was talking about. Again, the hits principle that has really caught a lot of buy-in. The hustle is there to get to the edge and make stops.
Well, they can show it. They can really back it up on tape. They can go back to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers when they had Warren Sapp and obviously Shelton, Quarles, and Brooks and all the great players. They show the Bears tape all the time with Brian Urlacher and Lance Briggs. And then, of course, they can go back to Dallas or even Indianapolis last year. That team was second in the league in turnovers. The buy-in's easy to believe in when they can prove it by showing it to you as a player on the tape.
So Jalen Johnson was one of the guys that was skeptical of new coach coming in with trying to change the culture. You hear that term in the NFL and in sports all the times, but they've kind of embraced this Shakespearean quote, "Thou who runneth to the ball, good things shall happen," and Jalen Johnson's been one of the converts.
It just shows you the power of a coach. Not only can he make them better football players, they're thespians as well.
Suddenly, they're reading from the Bard. Third down.
Nothing wrong with little Kuth, Adam. You know what I'm saying?
Nothing wrong with that, all right? I think Polonius may have said that originally about running to the football. There's a catch made near the sticks by the running back, Demetric Felton. He is stopped shy of the line to gain by Nicholas Morrow. And that'll bring up fourth down. So this is twice now in this game that the Bears defense has not allowed a conversion of 3rd and 10 or longer, and now teams are 0 for 10 on 3rd and 10 or longer against the Bears in the preseason.
This is why I love Morrow, because he can cover, man. Look at it. He was on glue there in order for Cleveland to even come close to making that play. They end up short because he's just like a glue gun, man. A guy is on you nonstop.
So we'll be 4th and 1. The offense is out there for Cleveland. Play clock's down to 1. And they will get the snap off. Brissett underneath, past the sticks. That's the smart play to make, and Njoku holds on to move the chains on 4th and short.
Didn't generate the pressure with the front 4 there. Good pocket, and really it's just looking to the backside, and it was Matt Adams was really looking at the quarterback's eyes, what took him a little bit out of position where Njoku was able to find the soft zone spot.
Dearness Johnson motions out to empty the set. Just a 3-man Bears rush, and it's forcing Brissett to move around in the pocket. Schwartz, the speedster, works his way for 9. Jones runs up to him to finish him off after Joe Thomas made the initial hit. 2nd and short coming up.
Yeah, just a little return route, and they're betting on the coverage. You saw Kyler Gordon, he sloughed off to play the deeper coverage there, and that was somewhat game plan there, that they knew that was going to be the voided area.
That's a layers concept, right?
Yeah. Yeah, basically you're high-low in it. Much like they tried to put the corner in the bind, and Justin was able to hit the corner route. That put the corner in the bind there in Kyler Gordon.
Little kick-out block from Njoku, the tight end. That opens things up for Johnson. And Matthew Adams comes flying to the ball, but it's a 7-yard gain to move the chains inside of Bears territory.
Able to get the edge. You see, as you mentioned, Njoku, he comes all the way across the formation to get the end man on the line of scrimmage, and this was able to seal the edge. But check out safety Elijah Hicks, who's now in the game. This is a very smooth player in coverage from his college days at Cal. This guy comes with a ton of tackles, a ton of turnovers, and he makes a ton of plays. And like last week, he got the muff punt for a touchdown. He just always seems to find a nose for the football.
There's Harrison Bryant making the grab for 4 yards. We should mention that for the Bears defensively, Jalen Johnson is sitting out. Tavon Young's been banged up. He's got a lower leg issue. No Graham in the defensive backfield. No Eddie Jackson. Obviously, we got the news last week. Jaquan Brisker has the thumb issue and had surgery for it for defensive coordinator Alan Williams. No Robert Quinn, no Mario Edwards, no Angelo Blackson up front.
And that's why I think it's important that Elijah Hicks, they like his man-to-man skills. Plus, he's going to have to play special teams. He's going to get a lot of playing time. That's really going to elevate whether he could be the fourth safety for the Chicago Bears.
Oh, Demetric Felton had the first down, and Devontae Harris kind of shoved Donovan Peoples-Jones into him, preventing him from getting across the line to gain. But it is a good gain. It will be 3rd and short.
Well, it's a nice job because that's a size disadvantage. When you mentioned Harris on Peoples-Jones, people don't realize he's a 6'4" wide receiver, but that's how you get physical at the point of attack, being intense, because he really is the edge corner that really is the force player on that particular play.
Inside of a minute for the opening quarter. Brissett rolling. Being chased. Tried to thread the needle. Looking for Johnny Stanton, the fullback. And good job by the Bears defense to close that window up. It'll be 4th down and 2.
Yeah, good in and out coverage by the Bears backers on that play. Watch Joe Thomas come in from the outside. Boom. Well, that's a dangerous throw, in my opinion, by Jacoby Brissett. That's too tight of a window. Good coverage by the Bears.
And Morrow was there to close that window as well. And because they get the stop on 3rd and 2, it'll be Cade York, the rookie out of LSU, who's already made a 50-yarder in this preseason. They took a 4th-round pick to bring this kicker in from Baton Rouge. And York, just that little hook at the end, sends it wide left. He missed a 55-yarder off the right upright in the preseason. Just missed a 58-yarder. He had the distance. So the Bears will take over, and great seats are available to see the Bears this season at Soldier Field, including Week 1 against San Francisco. You can get your tickets at chicagobears.com/tickets. Offensively for the Bears, still no Lucas Patrick. Unfortunately, Doug Kramer went to IR, the rookie 6th-round pick at center. Treston Ebner is out today. And amongst the receivers, no Byron Pringle, no Velus Jones still, and Tajay Sharp is out. Justin Fields went 5 for 5 on the last drive. Great field positioning from the Bears 48, and just like that, into Cleveland territory, the Bears go. And a flag is thrown.
Holding. Defense. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
So just like that, fresh set of downs into Cleveland territory. Bears have been very clean so far in this preseason. This is their 29th possession. No turnovers, only 4 offensive penalties so far, and they've cashed in the red zone. Fields, deep drop, has time. And the comeback route is complete. It's the first catch of the preseason for Equanimous St. Brown. The new addition coming over from Green Bay. It's 18 yards.
Yeah, really just kind of lost out of favor in Green Bay. Really presses it well, runs it to the outside. Little burst route, and then comes back to the football. Perfect timing. And again, I think it's all set up with the personnel in the run game. Bears have shown already in this preseason game, 21 personnel, two running backs, 1 tight end. They've gone 12 and 13 personnel where they can bring in 2 or 3 tight ends. Nice job there.
Eberflus during minicamp in June surprised his players with a team outing at Wrigley Field, and that's Cole Kmet crushing one to the bleachers. Now don't forget, guys, Kmet was a 2-sport guy at Notre Dame for a while, played on the Irish baseball team. When he was a freshman, he appeared in 26 games. He was a relief pitcher before suffering an arm injury in his sophomore season. Hey, that day they had the home run derby. Kmet hit 3 homers. Justin Fields banged out 2, and Tevin Jenkins crushed one out of the ballpark on the Waveland, Adam.
That's pretty impressive. So has been David Montgomery with his angry runs. Kyle Brandt will like that as he picks up 13 yards.
Nice cutback, good vision, running to daylight, but it's how he finishes every single time. When he runs between the tackles, he runs angry. But quick, nice jump cut there, has the vision to cut it right. Look how he finishes. Lowers the shoulder with authority, and then gives the little almost shrug off to just, hey man, get off me. That's why players love him, and they love to block for him, because he runs hard and he sets the tempo.
Averaging 4.5 a pop. Looking for more. Trying to surf that line, though. That's good penetration by Isaac Rochelle. No gain on the play. It'll bring up 2nd down for the Bears offense.
Yeah, Griffin didn't get the kick out block there, but I think that's, you asked me about the personnel groupings and why it ended before we went to the break. Because I think that's the Bears' sweet spot right now. It's got to be their regular personnel. It's got to be their 2 tight end sets with Griffin, with O'Shaughnessy, 13 personnel if you want to go 3 tight ends, because they're a little banged up at receiver there. I think that is yet to emerge itself where they're going to be with the 3 wide situations, because Velus Jones has missed so much at camp.
Nice move to the outside. Dante Pettis had Greedy Williams on skates, and Fields finds him for a 12-yard touchdown.
Yeah, that's a good corner, and that's a nice job by Pettis right there, setting him up. Had him turned completely around. Pettis off the line, soft coverage. Oh, he bites. He sells the post route. Just beautiful. And then comes out and takes it straight to the sideline. Beautiful move. And you see Fields. He's getting more confident every single time. This passing game is going to come. It's going to take a little time with the O-line coming together and the receivers, so who he's going to be thrown to. But that's a beautiful route by Pettis.
Yeah, Greedy Williams is a rock-solid defensive cornerback for Cleveland, and Pettis ran a perfect route. Cairo Santos makes it 14-0, and boy, Justin Fields has looked very sharp after the initial drive. The last 2 series, near perfect down the field, and 2 touchdown scores.
Brought to you by PNC, the official bank of the Chicago Bears.
Great night here in late August in Cleveland, Ohio. Bears with a 14-0 lead on the Browns here in the 2nd quarter. Justin Fields, 7 straight completions now. As you look at the forward scoring drive summary, he's getting a lot of different receivers involved now too.
Beautiful. He's in rhythm. Think about it. They started the game. They did a couple of easy bootlegs, easy throws, easy completions. Now they're starting to move it down the field a little bit more, where they're more aggressive with the downfield passing. Gets the one-on-one touchdown. Pettis in the corner of the end zone. Nice throw by Fields.
Joe Thomas makes the stop on Jerome Ford. And coming up at halftime, one of the receivers that is not available right now and potentially could be a very good special teams player is Velus Jones, who started his college career at USC and then transferred to Tennessee, where he was excellent as a return man. We'll have more on Velus Jones at halftime. Luke Canellis with an excellent feature coming your way. From the 24, it's Brissett giving to Johnson. Scoots through a hole, got grabbed at the legs by Elijah Hicks. He's just short of the line to gain on what looks like a gain of 9.
Well, this is a tough team to stop the running game. Basically, every running back the Browns had averaged over 5 yards a carry. Yep. I mean, Bill Callahan is one of the best offensive line coaches in the league. This group can mush it now as good as anybody. And they probably got a back to give when it's all said and done with the drafting of Jerome Ford. This is a stacked backfield for the Browns.
Looked like Kindle Vildor was down for a moment and is up walking gingerly. They are measuring to see if there was enough to move the chains. Didn't seem like it.
You know, we've become high-tech in football and everything else, but spotting the football.
Except for spotting, yeah.
It's the challenge of the century, I think.
Well short. Still a good gain on first down for Johnson. You weren't kidding, though, about this backfield for Cleveland. They've been very run-heavy under Kevin Stefanski. Obviously, a quarterback change taking place this year as well. But Pro Football Focus has this offensive line ranked number 2, and that's without Joel Bitonio right now. And their backfield of Hunt and Chubb ranked number 1.
And I like the guys behind him.
Yeah.
Dearness Johnson has shown that he can get it. He averaged basically 5.3 per carry last year. Ford, I think, is a hammerhead who they drafted from Cincy. Demetric Felton, to me, he's a lot like Kareem Hunt. He's a third down specialty guy that can do a lot of things.
Excellent job by Vildor. He got in on Dearness Johnson for the loss. So it was second and short, and Vildor prevents the conversion.
Need your corners to play with force, and here it is. Fine, it's a trick play. He doesn't bite it on the fake, and then it becomes basically a running back screen to the right. Your corners got to play with force, and they got to come in and wrap and tackle. And that's the challenge for every team in the preseason. Corners struggle to tackle because the angles that they have to play and with the force and aggressiveness they have to play, they're just not up to it. Great job there by Vildor.
On 3rd and 4, excellent diving play by the rookie Kyler Gordon. There is a flag thrown, though, on the play. We'll check the marker. But an excellent effort by Gordon to get in the passing lane.
I think the receiver pushed off him. We'll see.
Yeah, they're asking Matt Eberflus if he wants to decline the penalty, so it should be against Cleveland.
Pass interference. Offense number 85. The penalty is declined. 4th down.
It was Njoku. And now the Browns against this Bears defense are 0 for 5 on 3rd down.
Again, he's asked to play inside. Typically, he was going to be an outside corner, but now he's asked to play inside more at the nickel position. That's a nice job. At nickel, it's tougher. You're dealing with two-way goes. You have to be physical up there, and he's going against a tight end now, an athletic tight end at that. He won that battle, and Njoku lost it by pushing off. Great job by Kyler Gordon. He continues to impress every single play.
So Bojorquez is out there to kick with Dante Pettis back to return. Pettis was an electric return man in his college days at Washington. NCAA record with 9 punt return touchdowns. 9 punt return touchdowns. Flag is thrown from the official on the far side.
Player out of bounds will kick. Number 35 kicking team. That 5-yard penalty is administered at the end of the play. 1st down, Chicago. Timeout.
Lavert Hill on the penalty. Excellent job. Kyler Gordon, a rookie out of Washington. First team Pac-12 selection last year. The pro manager Ryan Poles and company expecting to play a lot of young guys. It's going to feel like a developmental season because of all the young players, but that means the future looks fairly bright, especially with the way some of these guys have played.
Out of their 11 selections, to me, 9 guys get on the field. Yep. Jones is starting at left tackle. Brisker's going to start. Kyler Gordon's going to start. Velus Jones Jr. is going to be used a lot. Depending if he's the third receiver, Ebner could be the kick returner. So Jatiri Carter, who is the 7th-round pick, 226 overall out of Southern University, he may be the backup left guard when it's all said and done. How about Trent Gill? He will start as a rookie punter in the league. So 9 out of the 11 will get playing time. There's a lot of inexperience out there. That's why they're playing so much in the preseason.
First incompletion for Fields since the first drive of the game. He had connected on 7 consecutive passes prior. There is Jones handling left tackle. To give to Montgomery, not much room there. Maybe a yard and a half or 2. Jordan Elliott on the stop. 3rd down and long coming up for the Bears offense. Well, the first career start for Justin Fields came on this field last year. It was ugly. 9 sacks. Most of those came from Big Myles Garrett. He had one heck of a game that day. But since then, the last 5 starts or so in the regular season and the first couple of games that we've seen, plus tonight for Fields, you can see some evolution going right now. Now he's got to use his legs to escape the pressure. And he gets the conversion. There is a flag thrown. It's Dante Pettis who was there for the catch. Fields extended that play as long as he could. But we'll check the marker.
Well, as you mentioned, 9 sacks just wasn't good enough. They did a lot of empty in that game, and he really didn't have a shot. They're much more pass protection conscious with just their formations.
Illegal contact, number 26, defense. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is a first down.
It would have been a penalty on Williams. Instead, they'll take this conversion to Pettis.
Nice job bailing out of the pocket. He reverses out. This is a good move for a quarterback, and for him, it's almost a Patrick Mahomes no-look throw.
Yeah, a little bit.
So it was a nice play by him. Plus, they get the penalty, but he's much more aware. He knows what's going on. This offense is structured better for him to have success, and he will be protected much better, I believe, here in 2022.
There's Montgomery surging ahead. So the offensive line for the Bears, obviously with the shifting of Tevin Jenkins to play some right guard, the signings of Michael Schofield, Riley Reif, the drafting of Braxton Jones, the addition of Lucas Patrick. This is a line that seemingly, on the outside looking in, has depth and will have flexibility and some options.
Yeah, I do think Riley Reif gives them options. If they have any concerns at all about either tackle, he can play both spots. With Patrick being hurt, if he's able to come back, Lucas Patrick I'm talking about, who's got starts from Green Bay, that makes the right guard spot interesting, how it could work out. Because to me, if Jenkins takes over the right guard spot and then Mustipher started out at right guard, he could be the backup there. So it's still uncertain, but they have much more depth and better depth than what they had a season ago. They're just young. They've got to play. But if all things are equal, you play the younger players. And Borum and Braxton Jones, they're going to get that opportunity.
3rd down and 6. Blitz coming from the Browns. Fields with the screen. Montgomery can't get there. About a yard shy. Taven Bryan was there for the stop. Fields is looking over to see if they're going to go for it, but Trenton Gill will come out for a punt instead. Boy, Trenton Gill has been excellent so far, replacing Pat O'Donnell. 3 punts inside the 10 so far in preseason. Oh, pressure nearly got there from the Browns. Aesop Winston back to return, and he gets chased down. Good pursuit by Dane Cruikshank. This was a little closer than Richard Hightower would like. Ooh. Anthony Bell.
And football is brought to you by Miller Lite, the official beer partner of your Chicago Bears.
There's the special teams unit. Cairo Santos, Trenton Gill, Patrick Scales, the long snapper. And Richard Hightower is the new special teams coordinator. He's been very pleased overall. Gill flipped the field, and from their own 24 is where Brissett and the Browns will start. Out of the empty set again. That's a laser from Brissett to Njoku. As he works it for 20 yards to the 44-yard line.
Yeah, Brissett, he has no problem ripping the ball. He is an inline pocket passer, and just he can drop back and has always had a strong arm, whether it starts in New England or Indianapolis. That's the strong suit of his game, but he ripped the seam route as good as anybody right there.
Fake to Johnson. He has Harrison Bryant, the tight end. And he's taken down by Cruikshank after an 11-yard gain for a first down. The Browns lost Austin Hooper to Tennessee, but they've got a lot of good tight ends. Njoku and Bryant on the last two plays.
Yeah, they're similar to the Bears. They run a lot of 21 and 12 personnel with two tight ends, and they'll utilize it, and they go off of the outside zone run game. Their offense is very similar to the Chicago Bears and almost mirror images in what they're trying to defend tonight.
There's Johnson. And everybody moving in that direction, including Justin Jones, who's done a nice job getting to the edges this evening. Al-Quadin Muhammad as well. Short gain, second down. Bears bring an extra rusher, and it's picked off. It's Greg Stroman Jr. Another takeaway for the Bears in the preseason, and it's Stroman, the fifth-year man out of Virginia Tech, the former commander, coming up with the pick. And that pressure from the backside from Matthew Adams to the right.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't throw the side adjust to the right, because they're going to the D-slant comp set to the left. To me, Brissett should be hot to the right because Adams comes. And lo and behold, he's not on the same page as receiver because the Bears were playing aggressive defensively, and Stroman gets the inside leverage, able to come up with another turnover here in the preseason. That ball should have went hot to Njoku on the front side.
Yeah, you basically passed to the voided position from the blitzer.
Yeah, Adams came, and that was just a blown assignment by Jacoby Brissett. Bears take advantage of it.
Brissett,
he's shaking his head.
Yeah, he knew it. So this will be the 22nd snap for Fields and most of the starting offense. It's a fake to Herbert and a swing pass to the left. And it is Isaiah Coulter who has made the most catches of anybody in the preseason. Double digits for him. He picks up 6 yards. Third-year man out of Rhode Island who's had a nice showing thus far. So I would imagine this is the last series for Fields.
And going high, little up-tempo offense. I like this. Nice touch throw.
Yeah, lofts it up there for Simba Webster. They get 7 and get the first down.
This is where you got to get the ball up and down, and this shows you the arm talent of Justin Fields. I believe it was D'Anthony Bell who's the player in the flat, and he still has confidence throwing it over him, getting the loft over him to still hit the out route. That's a nice throw by Justin Fields. A lot of quarterbacks can do that and get the ball up and down.
Komet in motion. Here comes a blitz. Giving it up for Khalil Herbert, and he sprints for the first down. You always love screen plays against blitzes, and the Bears have run that a couple of times tonight against some pressure.
And I want to say this again. It shows his arm talent here, because he threw the ball, he manipulated the ball where he's an over-the-top thrower, but he manipulated to 3/4 just to avoid the pass rusher on the play and make sure the ball wasn't in harm's way. Another nice throw even though it's a screen, it's a nice throw. It's good arm talent that he's displaying and how he can manipulate his throws.
Here is Herbert. He gets upended for a loss. That was nicely put together for the Browns by Sean Jolly. So you mentioned Patrick Mahomes earlier with the movement, the no-look. This is a little Mahomes-esque, the adjustment.
Yeah, you see Bell there. That's a tough throw. The player, DeAnthony Bell, is in the passing lane, but not for Justin Fields. No, I can get it up and over. And that's separates the average quarterbacks from the great quarterbacks when you can throw it to a spot around defenders. And that's a hell of a throw by Justin Fields.
He's going to do it again, swing it out. Komet's there, and he gets gang tackled by a few Browns after a gain of 4. Tony Fields and Lavert Hill in on the stop. 3rd down for the Bears.
See, it's tough if you're not an over-the-top thrower, if you're a three-quarter, it's hard for a three-quarter arm quarterback to get the ball up and down. The only quarterback I've seen do it is Phillip Rivers. A lot of those guys throw it on a line, but if you're an over-the-top thrower and you can manipulate it to where you can get it up and down, which the touch throws, and as strong arm of a quarterback he is, he still has that ability to display nice touch.
On 3rd and 7, it's a shovel play on the pitch to Herbert, and he is maybe just shy. Good block by Braxton Jones to spring Herbert to a yard shy of the line to gain. 4th and 1 coming up.
Nice little play call, running the flip 9 crack. Just gets it to the edge quickly where you get blockers out on the edge and then turns it up for Herbert.
And a quick sneak, and Fields moves the chains inside the 25-yard line. And now, so again, we thought 25 to 30 snaps. And we're kind of getting into that territory right now. And now you get an opportunity essentially in a 4-minute situation for Matt Eberflus and the Bears offense.
This is exactly how you want to end the half. You want to control the clock. You want to go in with a score. And so the Bears want to finish right here. So this probably will be their last series, but they need to finish on a high note, scoring again.
It is Fields serving, pointing, tossing, end zone. Cole Kmet, touchdown. What a 30-snap series for Justin Fields and the Bears offense. 3 touchdown passes from Fields on an excellent close to the preseason.
A nice mixture to the offense. Again, going 21 personnel. They're flip 9 cracking plays. They're moving in and out. Now you're coming to the bootleg because you're running the ball so well, and that's just a blown coverage. You see the blown coverage by Cleveland, and nice job by Justin Fields. One, utilizing his legs, and that's going to be a big problem for defenses to defend. And nice touch throw and just lays it up there. When a guy's that wide open, that's when you panic and you miss.
Yeah, I always wondered how a guy could be too open. Well, when he dropped it, then he was too open, I guess. But Justin Fields, 29 snaps tonight, 3 touchdowns, 2 of them to tight ends, including Kmet.
But it's the ability. You saw the linebacker come up. He was running the wheel route, all right? So he runs the out and up. The linebacker is playing Cole Kmet in coverage. But now Justin is threatening to run. So the linebacker peels off, starts to attack him, and that leaves Cole Kmet wide open in the front corner of the end zone. Nice job by the Bears offense. Really executed well in all phases.
I don't think you could have scripted it any better. He had 2 separate stretches of 7 straight completions in that 29 snaps.
And I think throughout the entire first, you see him gaining confidence. I think with just the play calling alone, that's what I think is the brilliance of Luke Getsy. Because to me, this was their sweet spot all year long last year with how he should have been utilized. Getsy gets the sweet spot. This is where he needs to be. He continues to build his confidence, and don't worry, the pass game down the field is going to come, and they'll get 3 wides, and he'll be able to chuck it too. But first things first, support him with the run game, support him with the protection, and you start to see the attributes of what he can do as a quarterback.
So we're assuming, based on what we thought snap count would be, that Justin Fields is done tonight. As we take a look at tonight's Through the Air, sponsored by United Airlines. I don't think you could ask for a better first half.
No, they really have performed well. I think the offensive line, they continue to gain confidence. It's going to shake itself out. Still, receiver position will work itself out, but they can get by, even with the injuries, with their 12 and 13 personnel. They'll be just fine doing what they're doing, running the football in their play-action game.
Brissett back to the air, under pressure, and Peoples-Jones the closest target to it with Kindle Vildor in coverage. Matt Adams bringing some pressure that time.
comes with a lot of experience in this defense, coming over from Indianapolis. Plays, and he's been kind of the leader. You need guys to really show guys how it's done. Not only is it with the tape that the coaches are showing to get the buy-in for the Hits philosophy, Matt Adams has lived it. He's lived it, and Muhammad has lived it. That's how guys, they can get them on board a lot quicker as well. And I think Matt Adams has done a fine job here in the preseason.
It's mostly been special teams for Matt Eberflus, but he knows this defense well. It's why he can play with so much tempo. As the catch is made for a first down by David Bell, the rookie out of Purdue. Elijah Hicks on the stop. Kyler Gordon remains out there. Kendall Vildor still out there. So Gordon's playing slot corner right now. Playing zone that time, and David Bell went underneath. Gets the catch and the run for the first down.
Yeah, more of a prevent. Bears are playing off a little bit. Kyler Gordon was about 6 yards off, and they take advantage with the quick strike to the slot receiver.
Brissett looking to air it out for Donovan Peoples-Jones. Harris in coverage, and it's incomplete. Seen some good snaps from Devontae Harris tonight.
Yeah, he's right there, tight as a glove. I mean, Jacoby placed it in the best spot you can. It's about, you got to put it in the 2-yard bucket on the outside. It's a good placement, but Harris was there step for step.
He's on the near side of the field against Peoples-Jones again. Brissett has it batted down. Al-Quadin Muhammad jumps on top of it. It is an incomplete pass. Both Jones and Muhammad.
I think this is where you've seen increased awareness. We've seen 2 or 3 batted footballs here in the preseason. I've seen Blackson do it.
Yep.
And players are just much more aware. When they know they're not going to have any shot of getting to the quarterback, they just almost retrace your tracks, try to eye down the quarterback, his eyes, and where the throwing lanes and where he's looking, and get your hands up to have another opportunity to defend the football. That's a nice bat down right there.
Shadowing the arm is what defensive linemen often do. Separation from Bell. He's got the first down. A Biletnikoff Award finalist. One of the top wide receivers in college football last year.
And it's really a quarters coverage by the Bears. They just rip the in cut, and he finds the open zone on the deep in cut.
Flag is thrown from the far side. Johnson spinning. Jones grabbed him by the ankle. We'll check the marker.
Illegal shift. 2 players moving without reset. Number 11 and number 18, offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Peoples-Jones and Bell, the 2 receivers, were moving at the same time. Cleveland is without a couple of centers. J.C. Treader retired. Well, he was released by Cleveland. He recently retired. Nick Harris got hurt 2 plays into the preseason, and they lost their 7th-round pick, Dawson Deaton, to a torn ACL in practice, so they had to go out and get Ethan Posick, who has been their main starter now.
The 2-minute warning.
See some of the big boys for the Bears getting ready as they'll get
his job throwing it down easy to Cole Kmet. Then he rips it. They start moving it down the field a little more. Nice corner route to Griffin. And now the busted coverage by Cleveland on another bootleg. Got the out and up by Kmet, able easily in the end zone with the blown coverage.
7 different receivers catching the 14 balls for Fields tonight. First and 15, it is Johnson, and a good job getting into space by Thomas. A.J. Thomas makes the stop, the rookie out of Western Michigan. And there are the final numbers you would presume for this preseason finale for Fields. Pump, throw, deflected, and nearly taken away from Schwartz by Devontae Harris. The deflection by Trayvon Coley up front, who is battling for a roster spot on that defensive line.
Well, I still believe he leads the Bears in sacks through the preseason. Yep. with 3 sacks. Another way to state your case, way to bat the football. Really caused the pass breakup right there by the defender.
3rd-year man out of FAU, 28-year-old in his third season. He has had quite the journey and started with the Cleveland Browns.
Charge timeout. Cleveland, they're first. It will be 30 seconds.
So we're just a couple of weeks away. Bears and 49ers will open things up. You'll see that on Fox. And then the Packers will be the second opponent. So you're getting two very good defenses right out of the gate in San Francisco and Green Bay.
Well, Braxton Jones, you got to worry about the tackles. That's Nick Bosa now, and Nick Bosa had 15.5 sacks last year. Don't sleep on the Packers easy with Smith. Rashawn Gary has really stepped up as a young draft pick out of Michigan, and I think the Packers is probably the best defense they've fielded in quite some time.
Probably the best that Aaron Rodgers has had in a
Without
decade.
a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Brissett underneath, and it's through the hands of Anthony Schwartz. There's Jack Sanborn, who is ready to put a hit on the crossing receiver. And the Cleveland crowd is a little bit restless now. It'll be 4th down and 9.
Well, Cleveland has looked disjointed in their passing game, whether that's just Brissett getting more, because you got to feel for Kevin Stefanski. All the reps have been going to Deshaun Watson.
Right.
And now Brissett, he's got to get this group up and going and shift the reps where Brissett is now in there. And he's been a little off tonight, in my opinion, for Jacoby.
And again, it is his preseason debut tonight. This will be from 57 for Cade York. He's been close on a couple of distance field goals already. This time he makes a good adjustment. Almost a Bronx cheer here in Cleveland here with the field goal make and 3 points on the board for the Browns. At 21-3, Chicago on top. We'll get a preview of the Bears' premier experience with a single-game suite rental. Premium climate-controlled suites are available. Reserve yours at chicagobears.com/suites. Excellent job by Fields. You were right, though, about the wide receivers, because Pringle, Jones, you didn't get to see much of them in the preseason at all. So I will be curious, once those guys are in the fold, what the personnel groupings look like and the percentages of usage of those personnel groupings. But I want to go back to your point, Jimmy. They need to be able to play 21, 22, and 12 personnel well, and they need to execute in those personnel groups.
Yeah, to me, that's their base. That's their sweet spot with the run and play action stuff. You'll get more use of Justin Fields and the athleticism with the legs, run some quarterback draws and stuff. And then as they move along, they'll start to branch out where they'll be able to go 11 personnel, 3 wides, or even 10, 4 wides. They're not healthy enough to go 10 personnel right now. They're just not, in my opinion.
Kevin Shaw is going to get an opportunity to return this one, and he's going to get hit hard shy of the 20-yard line by Richard LeCount III, which is one of my favorite names to say tonight. This is what we were talking about in terms of the receivers that the Bears will have. Obviously, N'Keal Harry is going to be out for a while after his ankle injury early in the preseason. Jones is a rookie. Pettis has a lot of experience, more so in special teams. And there are some key names that are going to have to make big contributions.
Bayless Jones, I think he's extremely talented, and his tongue's going to be hanging out at the end of games. They're going to run jet sweeps. They're going to do all kinds of. We just haven't seen it in the preseason because he hasn't been healthy. I believe he will be their third wide.
James O'Shaughnessy, the tight end, makes the grab, the Naperville North Husky, and he makes the catch on a throw from Trevor Siemian. Siemian is on in relief of Fields, who is done. And under pressure, he'll dump it off. First down for Khalil Herbert. Inside of a minute to go, so Siemian with all 3 timeouts. And they'll use one here, Jimmy.
Here's my case in point. They're trying to go no huddle here, right? It's a 2-minute drill. Guess what? They only are going 3 wides. Normally you go 10, 4 wides. O'Shaughnessy is now in their 2-minute offense because they're just not healthy enough to do it. So that's going to have to work itself out prior to week 1 and what they'll be able to do due to the health of the wide receivers. Right now, it probably would be Cole Kmet or whoever, and they'd be running 3 wides instead of 4.
That's why O'Shaughnessy's out there right now, the 8th-year man out of Illinois State. A lot of experience with Kansas City and Jacksonville. More than 80 games played, 40 starts. Simeon with time, lets it fly, and it's a completion near midfield. Catch is made by Isaiah Coulter, who continues to have a productive preseason. 18 yards to move the chains.
I love this kid coming out of Rhode Island. He's a very raw receiver because they didn't run the route tree, but that's a beautiful throw by Trevor Simeon. Here's the reason why. He's got time in the pocket to wait for the in cut to come open by Coulter. Watch him back shoulder him here. He sees the safety and just slightly puts it on his back hip. It's the only spot for the football to be so he doesn't get blown up. That's how you protect your receiver. Nice job by Simeon not getting Coulter blown up there.
Yeah, he leads that ball closer to the middle of the field.
That's a kill shot if he does.
A good run for Coulter so far. Double-digit yards per catch. Here comes a blitz against Simeon. And he lost the football. That ball is loose, and it looks like Cleveland has it, and indeed they do. It's Perion Winfrey, the rookie fourth-round pick out of Oklahoma, who comes out with it, and Sean Jolly knocked it free from the hands of Simeon.
Perion Winfrey is going to be a really good player. He was the Preseason Senior Bowl MVP of the league. They just got one too many for the Bears to block, so it's either got to be audibled or it's got to be sight adjusted at the line of scrimmage. And Trevor Simeon, for a veteran quarterback, he's got to see that. There's one too many for the Bears to block.
At Cleveland, with their defensive coordinator Joe Woods, they brought the house from the right side. So Cleveland gets a takeaway. It's a rare turnover for the Bears. That's their first turnover in over 30 possessions this preseason.
Well, it's one of two things. Yeah, he's got to redirect the mic. You recall the mic. That way it would slide the guard and the tackle over one more player, and Khalil Herbert would just take the next inside, and then it would have been picked up. So you either got to recall it, audible out of it, or throw hot. One of three scenarios.
Joshua Dobbs has had a really nice preseason. He is in for Brissett. He's able to connect with John Kelly Jr. and Matthew Adams runs him out of bounds after a 6-yard gain. They'll stop the clock with 37 seconds remaining. So you got Lamar Jackson playing corner right now alongside Vildor. They're the outside corners right now. There's Dobbs, the Tennessee Vol. In his college days, one of the most intelligent kids I ever got a chance to run across in covering college football. Short arms that one, incomplete, looking for Miller Forrestall. 3rd down and 4 for Cleveland.
And that could be how it sits when they start the season. Jalen Johnson on one side. If they go nickel, Gordon will kick into the nickel because Tavion Young and Duke Shelley, a lot of guys just haven't been healthy, so it looks like Gordon could be the guy. And Vildor would be the next guy up on the outside. He's played in 17 games, has 12 starts a season ago, 45 tackles, so he comes with some experience just in a new defensive scheme.
There is Kelly, and he muscles ahead for the first down. Jack Sanborn is there for the tackle. 28 seconds remaining, and Kevin Stefanski uses a second Cleveland timeout. Well, what a preseason for Jack Sanborn. He's been one of the bright spots in, frankly, a preseason that has had a lot of bright spots.
Well, he's a player that Coach Hightower, the special teams coach, has talked about. I believe last week he had 2 tackles inside the 20 in special teams. Plus, he lit it up the first preseason game against Kansas City. And that's what Coach Williams told us. That's how you earn a jersey. You know, if you're not going to be a starter, can you get on the field for 25 snaps where you earn a jersey to be on the roster? That's how this guy's going to do it. It's not only that he can back up as a linebacker, he's probably going to be on all 4 core special teams for the Chicago Bears.
Bears looking for a stop at the end of this half in the 2-minute drill. Dobbs rolling, firing, flag is thrown, the catch is made, and Jack Sanborn is there to make the stop on Jamarcus Bradley. We'll check the flag.
Holding, offense, number 57, 10-yard penalty, first down.
That's Brock Hoffman, the rookie out of Virginia Tech, playing center. They're going to rotate through a lot of centers this season, Cleveland. Keep an eye on Sanborn, 57.
It's a zone coverage. He's just going to attack any man in his area and react on it. There he reacts. Zone coverage, all right. quickly make the tackle, get them down. They've got to play another down, but you get the penalty, so it puts Cleveland back.
Sanborn, one of the best tacklers for Jim Leonard's defense at Wisconsin the last 2 years. First down and 20 at the 37. Dobbs steps up, overthrown and nearly taken away by Vildor. That could have been another pick for the Bears. That's second and long.
But blue jerseys in the area. It's just an errant throw by Dobbs. He's got to pull it down, and maybe they'd have a shot there. But he's worried about Kyler Gordon. That's why he threw it high. So, again, remember I said you got to be able to touch and get it over defenders? Dobbs couldn't do that there. And so almost had the pick to Kendall Vildor. But really it's a good play by Kyler Gordon with underneath coverage, forcing Dobbs to throw high.
Yeah, Thomas had his hands on it too. And Vildor tried to jump that route to the former Bear Javon Wims. He wanted to make up for the last one. He and Thomas both had a shot at it. The Browns with 10 seconds left. Timeout used, their final timeout. Or maybe one more shot, you would think, to the end zone or maybe the sideline. And then based on that play, you see what ends up being the decision. But overall, another strong half of Bears preseason football under Matt Eberflus.
And as for conditioning, they logged a lot of snaps.
Yep.
And I thought they looked strong doing it. They did not get fatigued in any way, shape, or form.
Cruikshank and Thomas are the safeties. Gordon's playing slot corner right now. Dobbs gonna go end zone, testing Vildor, and it is deflected and incomplete. Javon Wims was the intended target. Excellent coverage by Vildor playing the outside.
Underthrown by Dobbs, but like you said, I mean, you got to put it up as a quarterback. Here you've got Wims, who was with the Bears. He's a legit 6'4" guy. You got to put it up higher to get a jump ball scenario, but you know, you credit Vildor. You know, he played it, he knew it was underthrown, and able to bat that ball away for a pass breakup. Good positioning against a bigger receiver like Javon Wims.
So now Cade York will get another opportunity, this from 46. And all 6 Cleveland points have come off the foot of the former LSU Tiger. All 21 points for the Bears came on 3 touchdown passes from Justin Fields, who was sparkling in the first 30 minutes in his run with the starters. Bears defensively were very strong. 3 different receivers were able to pick up the touchdown passes. A great half from the starting unit. Lou Canellis is coming up on the other side as we hit halftime in Cleveland. Bears in control.
It's been cool to see Justin work too. Yeah. When I first got here, I made sure I challenged Mooney and Cole and those guys to get with him during the offseason, those downtimes, to just continue to work on that chemistry. Yeah. Because you can see it already in practice from...
That stuff matters.
Big time.
Well, Justin Fields living up to some of the billing. All the progress, all the evolution during the offseason, being given the keys to the car, so to speak. And tonight in the preseason finale was by far his most dynamic performance. 3 excellent touchdown drives. 3 different receivers were on the receiving end of those scores. 7 different receivers on the 14 completions as you look at the first half stats brought to you by Miller Lite. Bears were exceptionally efficient as well, and a very good showing by most of the starting unit to close out the preseason, with 1 more half to go before the regular season begins. What do you think, Jimmy? What are you expecting here in the next 30?
Well, I think they're going to continue to play hard. I think guys are obviously fighting for roster spots. We'll see if guys continue to elevate their games, like Jack Sanborn. He's really flashed during the preseason, not only his special teams play, but what he's done as a backup linebacker in the NFL. So they've got to continue, obviously, to be efficient. I love the fact this team is very disciplined. That's been pretty obvious throughout the entire 3 preseason games. Only 1 penalty that you mentioned. And the 1 penalty, they overcame that penalty, if you remember, on offense.
It was that Griffin holding penalty that negated the Montgomery run. And then, you know what? Griffin made up for it pretty easily as he was the recipient of the first Fields touchdown. Kevin Shaw is back to return for the Bears from the 3-yard line. Looking for an alley. He'll work his way past the 20. So we welcome you inside the broadcast booth at First Energy Stadium. Adam Amin, Jim Miller, and we're pleased to be joined by the new general manager of the Chicago Bears, 36-year-old Ryan Poles is with us. Thanks for the time. We really do appreciate it. I know the question that is going to be asked first, and I think doing our due diligence, we should ask. Roquan Smith was expected to play tonight, did not dress. What was behind the decision-making process?
Yeah, just, he got out there early, and with some pregame movement, just there was some tightness, and I think everything's going to be all right with him.
Well, obviously, your impressions of Justin Fields, I thought very efficient. Obviously, I think that's really what you wanted your offense to go into the third preseason game, into the regular season. Confidence, 3 touchdowns, really controlled it, had the short throws early. He was ripping it down the field nice as the first half went along.
Yeah, no, we're excited about that. I think, you want to see progress. You want to see progress each preseason game, and for this to be the last kind of dress rehearsal before the regular season, he's done a nice job.
All right, let's go with your tools of the trade. You're a former offensive lineman, Tevin Jenkins. This guy, he's called to the roller coaster ride. Left tackle, right tackle, now he's sliding into guard. Your thoughts on how he's performed? He's really been solid the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, he's done a nice job at guard. And, we said from the very beginning we want to move guys around and try to find the best 5. So it's going to be interesting to get back and watch his tape, but he seems to be doing a pretty good job with that transition they kick down the guard.
Check the marker here as Ryan Poles joins us in the broadcast booth.
After the play is over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 78, offense. 15-yard penalty for down count.
Riley Reef on the penalty. So, Ryan, we've kind of established the offensive line, Justin Fields' play. You're a general manager in the modern era of the NFL now, and you just talked about versatility, options, right? Moving guys around. That seems to be the case both on defense and on offense. Can you give me a sense of the approach to flexibility and versatility in the modern era of the NFL as you step in?
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to the saying, the more you can do. Because at the end of the day, this is a long season and things are going to happen. So your ability to move and help the team in different positions is critical. So,
incomplete for Herbert.
Yep. And when you look at the young draft picks who could be contributing, I counted 11 draft picks. 9 really could be contributors when it's all said and done. It goes down to even Trenton Gill is going to be your starting punter. And just young players, their growth and development. And you targeted these players, and so far they've showed well.
Yeah, we're excited about that. Our front office did an outstanding job just in the prep phase for the draft and get our board set up the right way. And it's always really cool for front office to watch the young talent come out and make plays throughout the preseason. And we hope that carries to the regular season as well.
Aesop Winston on the return for Cleveland. Good special teams coverage yet again. Elijah Hicks was part of it, as was Joe Thomas. Just a minute and a half into the third. We had a quick segment here. You're willing to stick around for at least one more?
I'll stick around.
General Manager Ryan Poles in the broadcast booth with us. So you see that number, Ryan. You see 2023 projected cap space. It feels like 2022 is a lot about development to make sure that these young players, your draft class, all seem to take strides towards a season next year where there could be a lot of flexibility for you as a GM. How do you approach that?
Yeah, I think you're right. These young guys got to develop and, help kind of build that foundation and set the standard for how we're going to do things. And then as we move along, we'll have more flexibility to continue to add talent. I think the other piece we got to remember is also we want to take care of some of the guys, that are going to be free agents on our own team that have a good year. So we're excited to be able to do that and continue to add talent as well.
That's what you were talking about with Roquan Smith, obviously. That was good to see that he was back at practice this week.
Well, let me ask, because you mentioned about versatility, more you can do. Kyler Gordon, the young cornerback from Washington, he's been asked to do a lot more. You've been banged up in the secondary. He was playing outside when I came and watched you guys at training camp. Now he's doing more. He's playing inside at the nickelback position, and just how this young player is developed. Because sometimes I've been on teams where you don't want to overload the rookies, but this guy seems up for the challenge.
Yeah, he is up for the challenge. That was part of the makeup that really got us excited about him, and it was one of the reasons why we brought him here. He loves the game of football.
Deep pass looking for Javon Wims. It is a catch, but you will have to check the flag. Thrown back at the 22-yard line.
Yeah, he loves the game of football. He works at it. He's very smart. So real quickly, our coaches could get an understanding that he had the capacity to go inside and outside.
Well, just for the listeners, Ryan was looking on the other side of the pool. We're up here in a tight booth, and he still wanted to see the play, and he stopped his sentence to make sure now he gets the holding call that goes against a completion. So, yeah, I mean, it truly is. One, you worry about injuries up here as a general manager, but every single play you're evaluating. I can just see it here. I'm watching you do it as we're doing this interview.
Yep.
So it's pretty interesting how intently every single play you're evaluating.
Oh, it's important. And some of the guys, like there were some guys that were dinged up early in the preseason, and this is the first time out on the field. So this is a big opportunity for them. And I love this last push in preseason. The guys are out fighting for spots, and you see them at their best.
How hard is that? You know, those first couple of games, all right, we're cutting five, and you can give some leeway to guys. Now you're cutting 20-some-odd players from today's roster up until Tuesday. What's the most difficult part of that, and what are you looking for as you make those final cuts and make your final evaluations?
Yeah, you know, it is difficult. It's part of the challenge, but you know, you look for guys that are going to help us contribute or help contribute to our team. And, you know, special teams is one of those spots, too. So guys in the skill positions in the mids, they need to perform, you know, there, but also on special teams. And it's fun to see them perform.
So you saw DeMarcus Gates, Jack Sanborn both converging on that play. It ends up being 4th down.
Yeah, Sanborn always finding a way to a football. Let me ask you about your relationship with Coach Eberflus, because I'm impressed just by, I call it sideline etiquette, how coaches communicate and how this group has been very efficient here through the preseason, but just the buy-in of the team, the hits philosophy, because you can see it. You can see it in front of your eyes, not only in practice at Hallis Hall, but I think what Bears fans have witnessed here through 3 preseason games.
Yeah, we talked about that early. It's one of the things that got me excited about Coach is, you know, he's genuine, and he truly believes that there's a standard of football that we need to play in order to be successful. And he's been on the guys from the very beginning, and it's awesome to see that transform to every single preseason game that we've had so far.
General Manager Ryan Poles, kind enough to join us. Thank you so much for the time, Ryan. Really appreciate it. A good look at Ryan as an undrafted free agent with the Bears out of Boston College.
Preseason football is brought to you by Bet Rivers, the official sportsbook partner of the Chicago Bears.
Nightfall in Cleveland. Both teams with a series to start this second half. We appreciate Ryan Poles joining us in the broadcast booth for a couple of series. Trevor Siemian is in at quarterback. And the Bears start this drive from their own 32. With a play fake to Evans. Siemian running out of time. Evans with the release and the catch and the run and the first down. Finally chased down by Jordan Kanashik, former Cal Golden Bear.
Bears were looking to go deep with this play action. I believe it was Chris Fink who's running basically the post route on the backside. Sees it's covered. Everybody's back. Just take it down to Evans. Gets a big gain. Nice first down for the Chicago Bears. Good patience by Trevor Siemian to just take the check down.
That's what Evans has done so far in the preseason. The former Titan spins off tackles and is able to work ahead. What could have been a negative play ends up being a positive one for Darrington Evans, who's a little bit slow to get up after the play.
Yeah, he's shaking up. Had some opportunities last week. And again, he just got lost in the shuffle in Tennessee. Yeah. And we'll have to see. He looks to be in pain here as he's rolling around. Can't speculate on what is certain on him. Maybe he just lost his wind. But like I said, when he was in Tennessee with Derrick Henry and the amount of carries there, and they had Foreman there and Jeremy McNichols, and just did not get a lot of opportunities, and hopes to get one here for the Chicago Bears.
And the problem was injuries too. He had a hamstring issue 2 years ago and a knee issue last year.
Spins out of it, looks fine here.
Kanashik made the stop again. I wonder if maybe it's the plant or something.
Yeah, it looks like his left foot jolted when he makes this abrupt cut to try and get upfield to stabilize himself when he's getting tackled. So just hope it's nothing serious for him. As you mentioned, has had enough bad luck previously in Tennessee.
Third-year man out of Appalachian State. Third-round pick by the Titans in 2020, was an excellent running back in North Carolina. He's a Sun Belt Conference Offensive Player of the Year. Luke Getsy running the show offensively for the Bears. Trevor Siemian in at quarterback. And Demontre Tuggle, the rookie out of Ohio, will check in for Getsy in the backfield as Evans came off. I'll ask you a little bit for evaluation here in a second, Jimmy. 2nd and 7 near midfield. Fake to Tuggle, and they swing it out to the right for Chris Fink, and the former Irish is able to work near the sticks. So you heard Ryan Poles talk for a couple of series. We got to go through a lot of different angles and touch points for the Bears. Listening to Ryan talk about it, now give me your secondary evaluation on his talking points.
Well, certainly salary cap's got a big part to do with it. The Bears had one of the worst cap situations, $48 million of dead cap money. So what does that force you to do? It forces you to be selective in free agency. I think, say, Chris Ballard of the Indianapolis Colts, he's been very good at getting a good bang for his buck. And I think that's what Ryan Poles had to do in free agency. And now, as you mentioned, because your salary cap space is so limited, your young draft picks and your undrafted free agents, you've got to make hay. You've got to make the right picks. You got to make the right selections. You've got to grow and develop them. That's why they're going to play right away. And as I pointed out, 9 out of the 11 Bears draft picks will play and contribute for this team. And now you're seeing undrafted free agents like Jack Sanborn that look like they could be a player for this team.
Lachavious Simmons, Riley Reif are all in up front. Dieter Iselin is playing center right now. Siemian launches downfield, and it's dropped by Fink. He had just gotten enough separation, and if he hauls that in, he's inside the 5, maybe in the end zone.
Good protection up front, and it's a nice throw. You got to complete the play, and I'm with you. I think Fink's he's going to not sleep too well tonight, as he's got to come down and make that catch. Is it a tough catch? In the NFL, to me, that's not. That's a routine play, good coverage. You just got to have a little focus at the end, but had an opportunity there for a big play.
To be fair, the quarterback never thinks it's a tough catch. No, it's a play I think Fink will tell you he felt he should have made. 3rd and 9. Late pressure, picked up by the Bears. Tough throw, looking for Simba Webster, and it was covered by Herb Miller for the Cleveland Browns. And that'll bring up 4th down.
Well, unlike the previous play where I thought Trevor made a good throw, to me that wasn't a good throw. If you're going to throw a back shoulder, it has to be legitimate back shoulder where the receiver can put his foot in the ground and have an opportunity to come back for it where it becomes uncovered. And I thought ball placement there could have been better by Trevor Siemian.
Fair catch from Aesop Winston right near the 10-yard line. Another excellent Trenton Gill punt. Approaching halfway through the 3rd, the Northwestern Wildcat legend Trevor Siemian on the bench.
Looking for easy ways to reduce your carbon footprint? So are we. That's why we make sourcing clean energy as simple as this. Join us. We're IGS Energy. Let's go green for good.
And Bet Rivers.
Excellent night so far for the Bears here in Cleveland in the preseason finale. Bears last one undefeated in the preseason in 1994. They made the playoffs that year, beating Minnesota, lost to San Francisco. Steve Walsh made a majority of the starts. Eric Kramer made 5 starts that year as well. Joshua Dobbs hands off to John Kelly Jr. And a few yards picked up.
John Kelly.
Bears defense back out there, having forced 4 3-and-outs tonight. You see Sam Kamara out there making the stop. A.J. Thomas playing out there right now as well. We'll see some other names. DeMarcus Gates, Duke Shelley. They both entered the game. John Alexander, the defensive back, is in. Micah Treadway is in up front. Sanborn's getting some run again. Cleveland out of sorts. They need to use a timeout.
30 seconds.
Yeah, they only had 10 guys on the field. So personnel issues, and That's why you have the preseason. Again, it was tough because, again, as you're going to get the cut down to 53, the personnel groupings are always a challenge.
Sure.
And with the starters who normally aren't going to play in the second half of the preseason, that's typically when you have personnel issues, getting substitutions from the sideline, getting all 11 lined up.
That's why it's been nice to see, a positive for the Bears. Not a lot of those issues at all.
I think they've been very efficient from that standpoint. And I think, again, the coach knows the margin of error is small. They can't kill themselves with foolish things like dumb penalties or, personnel groupings, installations, and how they get onto the field. Those things will kill you when it's all said and done. Where you're playing behind schedule.
You and I have seen called preseason games together and separately, and sometimes that happens. You see that often with teams across the board, and again, that's a nice feather in the cap of the Bears coaching staff that a lot of these guys came in ready.
No, they've been sharp, and they've been on point, whether it's Coach Hightower, I think Alan Williams, the defensive coordinator, and Luke Getsy, the personnel groupings have been, afloat. I mean, because Bears fans have been frustrated. They've called timeout in previous season and still not had the right personnel groupings after a meeting and a timeout. So I think they've run a tight ship here this preseason.
Oh, nice play.
Gates.
DeMarcus Gates. He really showed up against Kansas City in that first preseason game with some great tackling, and he gets the pass breakup here.
Holding. Defense, number 43.
That's why he got the pass breakup.
Penalty. Automatic first down.
So it is the defensive holding penalty. That means the hold came before the pass was released. So that'll negate his pass breakup. Working on Miller Forrestall, the tight end. Yep, he hooked him.
The jersey.
Yep, hooked him. If you impede the progress there, if he let go and Forrestall was able to clear that, may not have been called.
Yeah, once you see that jersey stragged behind, those officials seem to never miss that call.
Run to the left for Kelly, and there is Sam Kamara. Getting a little bit of help from DeMarcus Gates. Kamara, 8 games last year, and a lot of those pretty much all of them came after Jeremiah Atauchu got injured. The linebacker position was a position of injury a season ago. You hope that when Smith starts playing again, there's going to be some significant depth there.
Yeah, added 8 tackles last year. Did have 1 tackle for a loss in the pass breakup, but good job setting the edge right there, and Gates for Gates to clean it up.
Oh, Snowden got to the feet of Dobbs, and the pass was wayward. Another flag is thrown, though. I wonder if this may be against Snowden. We'll see. Well, they're looking down at Matt Eberflus. He's going to decline. It's against Cleveland.
Holding. Offense number 70. The penalty is declined. Third down.
That is Alex Taylor. The tackle getting called for it. Snowden off the left.
Yeah, well, he hooks them there. So that's who the holding was on Alex Taylor. But that's a nice job getting the bend, turning the corner, and getting to the corner. Just to disrupt it enough for trying to throw the check down to John Kelly. It just disrupts the quarterback enough where he throws an errant throw.
It's the 5th time that Cleveland has had a 3rd and 10+ tonight against the Bears defense. They've converted 1 time. They'll convert a 2nd time here. Good throw to the outside for Mike Harley Jr. Nice toss by Joshua Dobbs. They get 18 on 3rd and 11.
Yeah, good comeback route. Bears are playing soft coverage out there with Lamar Jackson. I believe it was in that spot, number 23. Really playing it safe on 3rd and long, and Cleveland's able to convert.
It's a big night for Lamar Jackson to try to earn a roster spot as well. It's a handoff to Johnny Stanton, one of the most fascinating players I ever covered in college football. Played at UNLV and played like 9 different positions over the course of his career.
Well, that's the typical Ryan Poles as a GM, the more you can do.
Yeah, that's what he was talking about, though. And that's why I asked him about kind of the modern era. He's a young guy, he's 36 years old, stepping into a GM position, and it's a different perspective than guys who have maybe gone through different eras of football.
Well, you talk about Johnny Stanton. To me, one of the more interesting guys in the draft was that linebacker out of Montana, Troy Anderson, who got drafted by the Atlanta Falcons. This guy played quarterback in college, switched over, played running back a little bit, and then he played linebacker, and he's a freak athlete.
Yeah.
And you watch, they'll find a spot for him for Atlanta. And that's an interesting group when you look at Dean Pease as their defensive coordinator. How he's going to utilize that guy, he reminds me a lot of like Mike Vrabel, who'll be like a rover
like
type
a hybrid
of guy,
yeah.
and do a little bit of everything. But just a terrific athlete. But they'll find a spot for you. If you're talented, they'll find you more than one spot if you could do more than one thing.
Fresh set of downs from midfield. Stanton gets chased down from the backside by Trevis Gibson. And that was quite the hit. Kind of landed on Stanton on the chase down, and Stanton may have gotten the worst of that.
Yeah, he landed right on the football and
knocked the wind out of you a little bit.
Absolutely. But that's a hell of a job by Gibson from the backside. Look, he's the backside defender. He's got to track it down now. You got to run and you got to make the play because they're getting the front side blocks, and you got to make the play from the backside. That's good hustle. That's hits in a nutshell right there.
We'll step aside here in Cleveland with 4:39 left in the third.
Illinois is in the middle. And what do you find in the middle?
The meeting point of humanity and history.
It's the middle of the architectural revolution.
In the middle of the rainbow.
Welcome to the middle of everything.
This could work.
We're taking you home now, sir.
Are you with search and rescue?
No, I'm with the resort.
What? You're gonna like this story, because it's about you. You who forgot to charge your phone last night. You who sprints to the boarding line so your bag will fit. You with him. Until one day, you boarded a United plane that was designed for, well, you. And your phone got charged, your bag fit, so did everyone else's, but this story isn't about them. Your toddler didn't tantrum, and you got to fly happily ever after. The end.
With Honda, every summer adventure is the destination. Take your adventures farther with Honda, America's most fuel-efficient, full-line automaker. Hurry into a local Honda dealer where new vehicles are arriving daily.
21-6, Bears on top. Browns have the football in Bears territory, and as you can see on your screen, the starting quarterback for the Chicago Bears, Justin Fields, was outstanding tonight. Justin, thank you first and foremost for the time. And just how did you feel? Great numbers. You looked in command. You looked in control. The offense looked the same. Just the sense for how you felt out there tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I felt good. I think the offense, started off great. And, of course, we wanted to put 7 up on the board. I know last week we started off with a field goal, so it was good. Just putting a few touchdowns on the board.
Well, really good early. You start with the easy completions up front. Obviously, the wide receiver screen to Darnell Mooney, and then you worked the naked game a little bit, but then you started pushing it down the field. Just the pocket that was available for you because you really took advantage of it, sat tall in the pocket, and delivered some strikes.
Yeah, I mean, the offensive line, I think they did a great job in the first half. So, just building and getting better every day.
Give me a sense of like when I say the term evolutionary process for you, what do you think in your head? What does that look like? What does that mean to you as you go into year 2?
I think it's just, growing every day, just getting more comfortable, being here, being in command of the offense, and, being more comfortable just playing in the NFL. So, just trying to get better each and every day and, just take it day by day.
3.5 to go in the third, 1st and 10 for Cleveland here from the 30. Whistle blown with a flag thrown. Justin, we're looking at the play where you found Dante Pettis on a little bit of a scramble to the left. It wasn't a true no look, you said, but it's kind of like an in-betweener where you just kind of at the last moment looked at Pettis. Who have you watched? I know Stafford does that well. Mahomes does that well. You talked about comfort. Where does that come from on making plays like that?
It just comes from, practicing, just, moving the defenders with my eyes. So I'm just doing that and working on that. And, of course, there's a few guys in the league that already do that. Seems like they can do it on, every play. But yeah, just working on that in practice, and then just trying different stuff in practice. So I think that's kind of where that came from.
How important was it tonight to finish the drives? You guys had long, sustained drives, but you finished with points. And you've got a lot of variables you've been dealing with, Justin. Offensive line, the receivers have been a little bit banged up, but it really looked good tonight in finishing strong for this third preseason game. Yeah, for sure. That's kind of our team motto, just finish, and that's just the way we play, is just finish, playing hard and, just finishing each and every play. So, Coach always says we can play harder, longer. So, that's just one thing that our team does well, is finish.
2 weeks from tomorrow, man. Looking forward to watching you at Soldier Field against the 49ers. Congrats on a great preseason.
Appreciate you. Y'all have a good one.
You as well. Justin Fields, an excellent outing tonight to close out his preseason slate. Kind enough to give us a few minutes of his time. 2nd and 8. Dobbs under pressure, and it was Snowden right in his face. 3rd down and 8 coming up.
Nice job really closing the space pretty early on what looked like was going to be a slip screen, because that's a pretty quick play. And Dobbs didn't even have a chance. 1, the lane was gone, and 2, I think he deflected it. It would have been incomplete from the get-go. Nice job, good effort.
Charles Snowden has had to contribute in multiple ways. He was a linebacker in a 3-4 last year, and one of many who have slotted into essentially an edge position in this new 4-3 defense. 13th play of this Cleveland drive is a throw, and it is a completion to Jamarcus Bradley. Finally finished off by Gates and Shelley after a gain of 17 yards. Inside the 25 for Cleveland. Kevin Stefanski in his 3rd season. They went 8-9 a year ago with Baker Mayfield as the main quarterback. Of course, Mayfield traded to Carolina, and of course, in a twist of irony or fate or whatever, the Browns and Panthers will square off in week 1. I thought Mayfield looked pretty sharp last night, or 2 nights ago, whatever.
Yeah, he did. He threw a couple of touchdowns. He quickly disposed of that quarterback competition and took care of it in less than a month. And, I think Myles Garrett and them will be excited to see him.
Yes. Good job by Caleb Johnson surfing the line. Greg Stroman helping to finish it off after a 4-yard gain. Browns will open at Carolina, and the Jets, then Pittsburgh, then on the road at Atlanta. This run-heavy offense with its excellent offensive line when they're healthy, that obviously will be a question, in particular the center position.
Yeah, their center position, as you mentioned, as Harris is gone down, and here they're down to Posick already, who has played substantially out there for the Seattle Seahawks. Yep. This was another team. Their special teams killed them last year. They're going to count on a young rookie kicker in Cade York, and we know these games are decided by field goals or less, and we'll see if he's up to the challenge. It's going to be a tough AFC North this year.
Oh, no kidding. They're going to get some taste of it right out of the gate. Sam Kamara makes the stop. Flag is thrown with half a minute to go in the 3rd. We'll spend the 4th quarter tonight watching some of the players that are on the field. Obviously, we'll talk a little bit about position battles and the groupings.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness, number 46, defense. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic 1st down.
Sam Kamara can't believe it. And he gets tagged with that penalty, the 2nd-year man out of Stony Brook.
Have to see the replay and where the roughness came from for Kamara. It's coming down the line of scrimmage. It looks like
I'm going to guess it's going to be a helmet penalty then. Now, that was a shift in the rule this year. So last year, you started to see if you lower your helmet to initiate contact, it's a penalty. Take out the word initiate from the rule this year. So essentially, if you lower your head, they're going to call it. That's a change this season and another point of emphasis for the officials. Dobbs off target, 2nd and goal, still a 2nd to go in the 3rd.
Well, it's going to be tough on play. I think the players have already adjusted pretty well of leading with their shoulder. Even what I thought was a bad hit on Justin Fields when he gave up and tried to slide. The defender, to me, did a good job, coming in with his shoulder. Plays like that where you have to lay out there's going to be possible where you're going to have to lay out. To me, sometimes there's always going to be incidental contact, and that's hard for an official to really dissociate from leading with the helmet.
Final play of the 3rd. Little cut by Kelly. Gets the edge, but he gets pushed out by John Alexander, the rookie out of Charlotte, to take us to the end of the 3rd quarter. 21-6. Bears with the lead to the final quarter of the preseason. All season long, you get one of the great duos in all of radio in the National Football League. One of the longest tenured duos in the NFL as well. The great combo of Jeff Joniak and Tom Thayer and their wonderful radio crew.
Yeah, Jeff is 22nd year. Tom, obviously a great player for the Chicago Bears. Breaks down offensive line play as good as anybody. They are a treasure to listen to.
We'll get them every Bears game this season. 3rd and goal for the Browns. Their 17th play of this drive. Nearly 9 minutes on the field for this Bears defense, looking for the stop. And they get it. Duke Shelley steps in front of Javon Wims to make the play, and Jack Sanborn continued to make Joshua Dobbs have to scramble.
Yeah, good hustle for him to close on the quarterback, and this is a dangerous throw by Dobbs. I mean, Shelley could have easily have intercepted this pass, but look at Sanborn. See, he's even looking outside. All right, who's he trying to throw to? Closes on the quarterback. That easily could have been picked off. Dangerous throw.
Now, Shelley and Jackson Lamar both out there. Situationally, they're going to go for it on 4th and goal. Why not? Dobbs, corner, and it's caught. Miller Forrestall, good effort. It looked like Duke Shelley had just lost his footing a little bit, and that allowed Forrestall to get free.
He did. It looked like he slipped with his right foot. He was starting to adjust and realized it was going to go to the back corner of the end zone. You'll see in your far right corner, he's playing the corner and then just loses. When he tried to turn and open up his hips, he lost his foot, his feet a little bit, where he couldn't put his right foot in the ground to continue to run to the corner route.
Browns will go for 2. Dobbs has done a lot of this in the preseason, partially because he's a good athlete, partially because the Cleveland offensive line doesn't have their typical guys playing. That's another reason why Dobbs has been running around so much. Under pressure, Kamara could not get Dobbs. Snowden won't get there. Treadway won't. And leap towards the end zone. And Joshua Dobbs converts. He has gotten his cardio in these last couple of weeks, and he converts for 2.
It's great effort by him. Kamara had him dead to rights in the backfield. There's no doubt about that. And Treadway was just a foot race, and Dobbs is going to beat him. But then John Alexander has the opportunity, but just gets the nose across the goal line.
Good effort by Dobbs. 21-14 the score.
Miller Lite, United Airlines, your local Ford stores, Revolution Solar, and Bet Rivers.
Every touchdown drive that Cleveland has had in this preseason has been engineered by Josh Dobbs, including the last score. 21-14, Bears with the lead. Cade York will kick away, and Kevin Shaw once again back to return. Shaw, the rookie out of Liberty, an undrafted free agent, former JUCO player in San Francisco, before going out east. Down to the field, Luke Canellis, what do you got, bud?
Hey, Adam, Bears typically wear their orange jerseys a couple of times each season. This year, they're going to break tradition and wear an orange helmet in 2 games. First time in franchise history, the primary color of the Bears helmet is anything other than their traditional navy blue. The new design, though, isn't all that conceptually different than the navy blue helmet they've been wearing since 1973. And let me give you this nugget, guys. Chairman George McCaskey, he used to work in the team's equipment room, keeps binders in his office of Bears historical documents, and one binder showed that the Bears wore orange and white in the 1936 season.
Wow, great stuff from Lou there. We saw George actually walking to the stadium earlier today, taking a nice stroll in some beautiful Saturday afternoon Cleveland weather.
But you got to give him credit going back to 1936.
Well
He's
done.
doing his research.
Well done.
It's going to look pretty sweet. I can tell you as a player, I'd be pretty fired up to wear that helmet.
Nathan Peterman is into the game, looking for Shaw on the slant. Could not hold on. And that'll bring up 3rd down and 3. The 2 times that the Bears will wear those orange helmets, it'll be the game against the Washington Commanders on October the 13th, a Thursday night game. They'll be on the road in New England on Monday night after that, and then they'll wear the orange again on the road 1 day shy of Halloween at AT&T Stadium against the Cowboys. So that's both in that little 6-game stretch.
Well, think of the Commanders, and they're almost maroon with their helmets, and then the Patriots, who typically wear the grays, right?
Yep.
And so, to me, as a quarterback, sometimes when you're uncertain about coverages, you go by the different colors.
Go. Yeah. Nice contrast.
When I see a lot of different colors in an area, all right, I'll be able to identify those orange helmets pretty quickly if you're Justin Fields.
Down by contact, Kevin Schaub. There's a flag on the play, though, and an injured Cleveland Brown as well. And this is the stuff that you hate to see in the fourth quarter of a preseason finale, is anybody looking like they're in any type of significant pain.
Holding. Offense number 73. 10-yard penalty. 3rd down.
There is Justin Fields. Lachavius Simmons got called for the holding penalty, so you're getting into your last string now of offensive linemen for this fourth quarter. But the concern right now is for the injured Brown on the field.
Well, Simmons, as you said, did get in 2 games last year in 1 start versus the Tampa Bay Bucks, and getting an opportunity here and gets the holding call.
Zachary Thomas is out there as well, the rookie. Some concern here in Cleveland. We'll step aside.
Brought to you by Advocate Healthcare, the official healthcare provider of the Chicago Bears.
From orange to the traditional navy. Talked about the Bears helmets, taking on a team with those orange helmets. Unfortunately for the Cleveland Browns, Chris Odom had to be carted off the field. It's 3rd and 13 for the Bears, and Nathan Peterman, who throws low, and it's incomplete, looking for Symbol Webster. And to bring up 4th down for the Bears, and they'll have to punt to the Browns.
Nate's got to hit that throw. To me, that's a routine play where you just got to deliver a strike to your receiver and just raise the ball up a little bit for Simba to having a shot there to haul it in.
Trenton Gill with the kick. Aesop Winston has to backpedal to the 20. And he gets knocked down shy of the 30-yard line. Tackle was made for the Bears in special teams by Rice and John. Last part of the schedule, or Chase Allen, beg your pardon. Here is the final stretch of the schedule. Closing on the road at Detroit and at home against Minnesota. There are some difficult out-of-division games in that mix with the Eagles and the Bills.
Yeah, Packers, and then you get the bye week. Coming out of the bye week, that's no joke. Eagles have a very good roster that they put together. It's really all on Jalen Hurts, their quarterback. Bills are a stacked football team. Lions will be much improved. And the Vikings, they feel they've got a shot with everything they've added here this offseason.
I got Philly twice in the first 3 weeks, and I'm very excited to see the continuation of the evolution of Nick Sirianni's offense. They went heavy run, much like these Cleveland Browns, about midway through last year, and it really affected and changed their season for the better. Lamar Jackson helped finish off the tackle on John Kelly Jr. 2nd down coming up. Jack Sanborn missed it, but Kelly was there along with Hicks.
Yeah, Philadelphia, from week 8 on, they led the NFL in running the football. They really took a lot of pressure off Jalen Hurts, able to make it to the playoffs, and they were close against Tampa in that playoff loss.
And I think they got better with their receiving. They put more weapons with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith going into year number 2. They have a very good tight end, Dallas Goedert.
Yep. That is a good football team.
Yeah.
Dallas, everybody thinks Dallas is going to win the division. Not so fast with Smith going down at left tackle. Philly is going to be in the mix.
Gates knocked that ball out of the hands of Harley, but it is good for a 1st down for Cleveland. Yeah, the hype around Detroit doesn't mean that they're going to be a playoff team. The hype around them makes it feel like they might win 7 games, which for the Lions, as you know, being a Michigander, that's a big deal if Detroit got to 7 or 8 wins.
Yeah, certainly the focus has been on Dan Campbell, and he has been a big focus of Hard Knocks, just how he presents himself, how he gets this team to buy in. But physically, they have one of the best offensive lines in football. Frank Ragnow is a very good center. When you look at Taylor Decker getting back and Penny Sewell, how he played last year at the right tackle spot. Their O-line's good. They'll be able to run the football. Defensively, do they have enough pass rush now? They're hoping to get a quarterback by week 1, and then obviously Aiden Hutchinson is going to be counting on their first selection overall out of Michigan to provide that pass rush. They're a hard-nosed football team. That's how they play. That's the identity of their coach, and they will play you hard. They'll be a tough out here in 2022.
Don't forget Charles Harris on that front for Detroit as well. That's a good pass rush if they're healthy. Incomplete through the hands of John Kelly Jr. He had Sanborn draped all over him in coverage. Going to bring up 3rd down and long for Cleveland.
3rd down 10.
And that's the Lions. Green Bay, which lost to San Francisco in the divisional round last year, they really focused on their defense. Nathaniel Hackett's gone. He was the OC. He is now the head coach in Denver. Aaron Rodgers doesn't have Devontae Adams anymore.
Well, that's what's surprising right there. I didn't think they had the salary cap money to sign the guys back, like Devondre Campbell.
False start. Offense number 81. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
You give the big contract to Jair Alexander, who was an excellent corner for the Green Bay Packers.
They really paid the defensive side of the ball.
They really did. They went out and kept it. They solidified it, if not made it better. I thought the big signing for them was Jaron Reed.
I think it from Kansas City to play up front.
Yeah, they've always been a defensive tackle short. If you go back 2 years ago when they lost to San Francisco rushed on them for like I think 220 yards because they were a D tackle short.
That ball came out loose momentarily. Devontae Harris was right there. He was fired up, knocking it away from Nakia Griffin-Stewart. 4th down. Harris has been flying.
Goes to the check down. Yeah, that's what they're talking about in hits too. They always watch that would be counted as wouldn't be counted as a loaf, because when they do their loafs and how they evaluate players, you have to swipe at the football. That's a great job by Harris. Even though he's making the tackle, he still swiped at the football to get it out of bounds. Good effort there on that play.
Simba Webster, who's mostly been used in his career as a special teamer and a return guy. Oh, that may have been deflected. That looked like Joe Thomas got his hand on it. And that punt just rolls past midfield. It's going to be great field position coming up on just a 19-yard punt. Nice job by Joe Thomas getting his hand in there.
Special teams again. I think they've been pretty sharp all through all 3 preseason games. Thomas is in there. Gets his hand up just enough. Just graces his hand. That's all you got to do is deflect it a little bit. Ends up being a big difference in terms of where the Bears will start on offense. Good effort there by Thomas.
Bears have not had a blocked punt in the regular season in 9 years. And that was good stuff from Joe Thomas. Peterman, deep drop off the play fake. He's got an open crosser in Shaw, and he's got a 1st down inside the Cleveland 35-yard line. Nice throw by Peterman.
Good adjustment by Shaw. He could have let him a little bit further and had a little bit better ball placement to create more run after the catch, but nonetheless a big game off the play action for the Chicago Bears.
See Peterman, what he's done in the preseason thus far. A little reverse. Shaw breaks a tackle. Not going to get much on it. Ends up taking quite the hit for a loss of a yard. Roderick Perry, the second, the former Illini. The rookie makes the play. 2nd and long.
Yeah, misdirection really didn't fool. They stayed at home. I think they're expecting the Bears to run the football, but everybody's staying at home. They're hustling to the ball. Just get what you can get and get down. He took a big hit for Shaw. Undersized receiver, but plays tough, and like I said, had his best year at Liberty with Malik Willis as his quarterback.
It's a handoff for Demontre Tuggle. Still Dieter Iceland in at center right now. You got Simmons and Thomas both out there, along with Schofield. And Sean Coleman to round out the offensive line in this 4th quarter.
Tuggle's an interesting guy because he's built a lot like Ebner. They have kind of the same body build, but they're totally different players. As Ebner's more of a third down back, this guy has no problem running between the tackles. That's where he made his save. He was actually their goal line back at Ohio.
Yep.
He runs tough.
On 3rd and 4, Peterman sees the pressure, trying to step up, and he's going to go down. Curtis Weaver, who I really enjoyed watching at Boise State. I thought he was an excellent player from his freshman year on. Ends up being a sack.
Yeah, he's relentless in how he plays, but you're going to see it's unblocked. The play didn't have a chance from the get-go. The tackle should kick out. That's Sean Coleman.
Yeah.
They were only bringing 4. So just that's a blown assignment up front by the offensive line.
So we do get a look at Cairo Santos, who will get a shot from 48 yards. Oh, off the upright. A rare misfire from Santos. Didn't miss by much. And the Bears come up empty on offense on this possession. This is when you look at a Bears fan in the eye and say, settle down. I know what you're thinking. It's just Montgomery is kind enough to join us on the headset. 9 carries for 28 yards in his preseason debut. David, just right out of the gate, how did you feel getting back into the flow for this finale?
Yeah, it was good to be able to get back out here. I haven't played preseason this year, so to actually kind of get my feet back warm, it definitely felt good, so I can kind of get ready for the first game this year.
Well, how about even tonight? Utilizing more 21 personnel, having a fullback out there and blasting game, and you had one of your biggest runs in that personnel grouping, and it sounds like that's going to be more incorporated into the Bears offense.
Yeah. I mean, we got some things we gonna run, of course, but we're just trying a few things out, and we gotta limit the penalties so that we can be better. I'm in the red zone, but besides that, I think we kind of came out smoking a little bit. We just got to get better on some other places.
David, give me a quick sense of what this feels like to now be in a different offensive set. As they're looking for rims incomplete. Just give me a sense of what that's like to now be in your 4th year, see a new offense, and what you feel comfortable with so far during this installation.
Yeah, it's definitely different. Transitioning from staff to staff is definitely new, definitely different. But it's been a good transition, and I like what I'm seeing from the staff and also from the guys around me too. So it'll be fun this year. I'm excited to see what it brings. And yeah, it's gonna be dope.
Well, with so much movement on the offensive line, like Tevin Jenkins now at guard, and what you've seen of Borum and obviously Braxton Jones, how quickly have you got to maybe just learn their body language, how their blocks are going to be, how they're coming off to really set your timing and rhythm of how you want to hit things?
Yeah, it's definitely it's cool to see those guys to kind of be back out there. They were rookies, so to be kind of getting to that comfortability of them coming out, being able to sustain their blocks and see different looks, and, kind of get their feet wet like I was able to get my feet wet tonight. It's definitely good to see, but we got to improve in areas so that we can be the team and the players that we need to be, so that we can be better in the long run for each other.
All right, last one, man. Can you break down the weather for me tonight? I know you've got a special place in your heart for meteorology when it comes to sports, so break it down for me tonight.
See, tonight we got a nice forecast, clear skies, beautiful day. The Bears are holding up a win right now, and it's going to be great. So we're now checking out, not on CNN, but ABC.
My guy, David Montgomery, we appreciate the time. Congrats on a nice preseason debut, and best of luck in a couple of weeks, man.
Of course, thank you.
Great to hear from David Montgomery, the Bears' leading rusher the last 2 years, and had a nice showing tonight. We nominated him for an angry run that hopefully our buddy Kyle Brandt will feature on Good Morning Football this week.
Yeah, he does. He definitely runs hard and sets the tone for the side. And offensive linemen feed off that. And he makes a lot of guys miss. We've talked about in his college days as a Cyclone. I mean, he had one of the best miss rates in college football, and I think that's continued in the pros. He is really a hard guy to bring down. Every ounce of effort he's going to give you every single play.
And 9 carries for 28 yards tonight for Montgomery. Second down for Cleveland. It is Josh Rosen in at quarterback, the one-time number 10 overall pick by the Arizona Cardinals. If you count practice squads, this is his 6th team in 5 years.
I've never seen a first-round quarterback bounce around as much. He does have arm talent. You saw just that fade route previously, threw a nice fade down the sideline for a completion.
Greg Stroman makes the stop on John Kelly Jr. inside of 6 minutes to play here in the 4th. Jimmy, we've talked about a lot of things tonight. We've gotten a chance to hear from Fields, from Montgomery, from Ryan Poles. We talked about the position groupings, the personnel groupings. There's been a lot of touch points that we've been able to talk about. What do you like about the defense specifically?
I just think, one, that they've simplified a lot of things, and it's gone back to a defense that I think is proven to really show well in the NFL. Whether it's been in Tampa, whether it's been in Dallas, whether even Chicago Bears fans have seen it with Urlacher and Briggs and that great group, and what Eberflus has brought now over from Indianapolis. You see a group that really gives a lot of effort. I think will provide a lot more turnovers, and they'll be a disciplined group. You know, they still need young players to rise up. We've talked about Brisker. He is going to play. Kyler Gordon, he is going to play. Trevis Gibson going back down with his hand in the dirt as a defensive end. He's got to be a big player in the rotation opposite Robert Quinn. Again, I started this program. We haven't seen Roquan Smith in this defense. He is the Bears' best defensive player by far. Okay, and know he's upset about not getting the contract, but it's an opportunity for the Bears to see him in this style of defense as a weak side linebacker. I think he's geared for it. I think he's going to have a tremendous season. He is the ideal fit as a run-and-hit linebacker in this Tampa 2 style of defense, and it's really going to help out everything else up front. This guy is a heat-sinking missile, and I think he's going to make a boatload of plays this year in 2022.
It's the first time that the Bears are going to a 4-3 since Mel Tucker was defensive coordinator in 2014. Alan Williams, who was the DB coach with Eberflus in Indianapolis, is now the defensive coordinator. And Smith and Morrow, the goal is to be as close to Briggs and Urlacher in their style, in their hustle, in their fashion of play as possible. Good job swarming to the ball as A.J. Thomas makes the tackle.
Look at that. 8 jerseys around the ball. Again, the hustle. There's no loafs. Everybody's flying to the football. And here we only have 4 minutes left in the game. Granted, these guys are fighting their fannies off out there for a roster spot. But getting back to the defense that you just brought up, starts with the 3 technique. They bring in Justin Jones. Now it's got to be the off the ball linebacker, the will linebacker who cleans it up. And then, of course, how the safeties play. Brisker is going to be a big part of that because he at times is going to be an in-the-box player and allow Eddie Jackson to be free more in the middle of the hole. Everybody says, well, it's Tampa 2. Well, then, Jim, you're telling me about in-the-box player. Tampa really wasn't a Tampa 2. John Lynch was down in the box all the time. I mean, we played that team. They're blitzing us all the time. Too strong, too weak. That's what Brisker's going to be allowed to play. So these guys, they have the big hitters. They've got the rotations that they need. Some guys need to show, and that's young players that have to show up. And then, of course, players opposite going in a new scheme that are going to have to develop, like Trevis Gibson, and continue what he did from a year ago with 7 sacks.
Nice coverage by Stroman, who's already had a pick tonight, on Javon Wims, the former Bear. Using that sideline as an extra defender, essentially. And it's the first time that the Bears have made a 4th down stop against Cleveland. They've got the ball back with 3:20 to play and a 7-point lead, and Nathan Peterman still going to work. Here is Tuggle. Jolly makes the stop, and he lost the football. Rare turnover by the Bears on offense. They didn't have one in the first couple games. They've had a couple tonight. And Jordan Kanashik ends up recovering the fumble. It'll be Cleveland ball with 3:12 to play.
Not what you're looking for, trying to run out the clock, and you know you're going to pound it up front. And first things first, ball security. Get 2 hands on it.
That was punched out by DeAnthony Bell.
Yeah, you just got to protect the football. You're outmanned out there. You got a guy draped on you. Now it's 2-on-1. All you can do there is protect the football and snug it with both hands.
So the Browns have 1st and goal from the 10. An opportunity to maybe tie this game. Who knows, maybe they go for 2 if they score a touchdown. I'll be fascinated to see how this plays out. Bears are backed up defensively. Defensive back blitz with Shelley. Tight window. Stroman tried to knock it free from Mike Harley Jr., and he is in for the touchdown. It's a one-point game with 3:07 to go. Cleveland takes advantage of the turnover.
Tight coverage by Stroman, and it's a slant route. He's in the back hip of the receiver. Tried to get a swipe across. Almost was able to get his right arm across to bat that ball down. Oh, just swiped a little bit too early.
And I think he was about to go down, but kind of kept himself up, allowing him to stay up long enough to kind of scramble into the end zone for the score. And now, indeed, Kevin Stefanski's team will go for 2 to try to take the lead here. And it's a good opportunity to play out a 2-point play. I may not be interested in some things, but I know for some people who have stuck around for 57 minutes of preseason football, this play has some significance to it. So beyond just who has the lead at the end.
Well, again, it's the mechanics of it. It's the pressure moment of it. You got to get the right personnel and the call out there. These are some guys that haven't been together.
After review, the runner was down. Prior to the
yes, he did go down.
Preseason call the goal line. The ball will be placed at the 1-yard line.
Okay. So now he's up. You see him kind of lift himself up, but his backside clearly went down first. So they'll spot that ball right shy of the goal line, take the touchdown off the board. So back to 21-14. Call it 2nd and goal. Try to sneak it with Rosen. Dane Cruikshank came around the backside to try to grab him by the waist and just hold him as long as possible. The play is whistled dead. It'll be 3rd down and goal.
Nice job inside by the D tackles just to clog up. They got lower than the lowest man. There was just nowhere for Rosen to go. Only inches he was able to gain short of the goal line. Look at Coley. They're all in there.
Rosen again, this time to the left. No signal yet.
I think he's short again. No, they're going to give it to him.
Sarah Thomas came in, has the call. It is a touchdown for the Browns. I imagine Stefanski will go for 2.
Treadway blew it up. You see number 98 in there.
Yeah.
Rosen just read the right gap, so he saw that Treadway was blowing it up the push there, and you just as a quarterback got to find the sweet spot. He goes to the A gap to the left side of the center in the guard and able to cash in.
Beads of sweat pour off the foreheads of many for this 2-point play with 2.5 to go. Fade route, and it's broken up by Stroman as Rosen was looking for Wims. Good defensive play again by Greg Stroman.
Well, that just seemed to be matchups for Rosen. He's kind of gone to Stroman's side every single time, and it was just a bad throw. The receivers expected to be a back shoulder fade, and it was nowhere near. Nice job by Stroman.
Yeah, so the pass here a little too far inside. Closer to Stroman than it was to Wims. .41 points on the board tonight. 2.5 left here in the 4th. The Bears maintain the lead. Going to be some smiles on that plane back home to Chicago on the short flight.
Well, some people will say, hey, it doesn't matter to win in the preseason. Tell that to the Baltimore Ravens. They literally haven't lost a game in forever. I think they were like 21
or 22, something like that now.
22 straight. It's important. You know, you do have to develop a culture of winning, that every time you step in between the lines that, you expect to compete, you expect to get the win. And I do think it's important, even through the preseason, that you get that type of identity, and coaches stress that with his players. Coach Eberflus, go out there, compete, get the win every single time. Play to win.
Touchback. Let's take a look at tonight's Miller Lite Player of the Game. I don't think there should be any shock. What a first half. 29 snaps right in the territory that Matt Eberflus wanted for Justin Fields, and he made the most of all 29.
Very accurate, decisive here, right here. This is just an absolute bullet to Griffin in the corner of the end zone. Red Dog coverage, makes a quick decision, delivers it right here again. Just a beautiful ball to Pettis in the front corner. Beautiful route on Pettis on that. And then the bootleg there, where he throws the Cole Kmet the touchdown on the out and up. Very decisive with the ball and showed command of the offense tonight.
Darrington Evans, good to see him back in the game after he left with injury earlier, but he is back out there. All right, so before the 2-minute warning here in the fourth, we talked about the Bears defense. Give me a little breakdown of what to expect for the Bears offense.
I think this is a group, they're got to be based on the run play action game. That's their sweet spot that we talked about. Fine, we've talked quite a bit about the outside zone run. Then it's going to be the bootleg, the movement plays off of that. You saw the deep down the field play actions tonight. Again, their pass game can't expand until they get receivers healthy. So that's going to be their sweet spot to start the season, would be my opinion. I think Justin Fields has mastered that. Now it's imperative on the O-lineman up front. One, for Luke Getsy to be committed to the run game, which I think he will. I mean, Montgomery's like A.J. Dillon. I mentioned that from Green Bay. And I think Ebner is like a Jones type of player. So they'll focus on that, run the play actions. And if they don't turn over the football and the defense plays the way I think they're going to play, they're going to be in ball games to the end.
Peterman, deep shot. He's got a man. It's Isaiah Coulter. Had to recover the ball after it slipped out momentarily, but he's down at the 35-yard line. It's a gain of 37 for a really nice preseason for Coulter.
There's the play action game that I mentioned. Looked like the ball slipped out of Nate Peterman's hand. He's short on the play. Good adjustment by Coulter to haul that one in. Again, it's for Peterman, he's been a little bit inaccurate tonight. He's got to be run after the catch. He's missed on a couple of throws. Good big gain there, Phil, for the Bears.
This broadcast is copyrighted by NFL Productions for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this broadcast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the consent of NFL Productions is prohibited.
Final 2 minutes of the preseason. Bears with a 1-point lead. Trying to close this thing out, make it 3-0. Only one timeout left for Cleveland. A little short run. So this will do it for the Bears in the preseason. And the next game, brought to you by Advocate Healthcare. It'll be the opening of the regular season. You see Justin Fields' old college jersey there. Bears will kick off their season right here on Fox 32. You'll be able to see it. My buddy Joe Davis, Daryl Johnston, Pam Oliver will have the call for the Fox crew of that contest. That'll be a noon kickoff Sunday, September the 11th, 2 weeks from tomorrow, right here on Fox 32. And then, of course, after the game, you'll get Bears Game Night Live, our great crew. We should mention Anthony Herron as well. And I think our producer, Michael Molinari, purposely left out Anthony Herron tonight because of their connectivity going back to the Pac-12. Oh, he slips through. There goes Evans. He's got a first down, and that essentially ices the game. Again, Baltimore, by the way, their streak now 23 consecutive preseason wins as they won earlier today. But this just has to give you good feelings. You can parse it however you want to, but it's just good to see these numbers very much in favor of the Bears.
Coach has been preaching it. The players have been applying it, right? Again, there's no margin for error here. The Bears are trying to build something. You can't be killing yourself with bad penalties, turning over the football. The players have bought into that as well. Much more disciplined group than what we've seen the previous 2 seasons.
Well, what a start for Matt Eberflus in his first NFL head coaching job. He wins his first 3 preseason games. First time since 1994. The Bears go undefeated in the preseason, and Justin Fields had his best game by far tonight in his preseason finale before the season begins.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think, Justin, you can see the growth as a quarterback in his second year. Again, they're just starting. This is the starting point. It's not where it's going to finish with the Chicago Bears. The roster is going to continue to churn as the season grows along, but it's about the growth and development of young players that are going to play significantly here in 2022.
Our coordinator Sherman. Our technical director is Joe Vinci. Our technical manager is Mark Hotmayer. For Jim Miller, Lou Canellis, the wonderful women and men of our Bears crew, Adam Amin saying so long from the preseason. The Bears go 3-0 in this campaign. They'll start the regular season 2 weeks from tomorrow against the 49ers here on Fox. Adam Amin saying good night from Cleveland.